Thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors.
And a very good afternoon and welcome to your home of GNFL footy, Radio Mama, Radio Geraldton, for your Drennan O'Malley Motors game day. Glenn Barden and Peter Forenza calling all the action this afternoon. Looking forward to it too. It is around 11 of the Community Bank GNFL Premiership season for MEDAC this afternoon with our game from WA Country Builders Stadium with the fifth place Towns hosting the undefeated top side Rovers. Should be an entertaining game. In earlier games today, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrilly Ward, the member for Geraldton. In the Colts, Towns won that one on a forfeit. In the reserves, Towns 10-15, 75, defeated Rovers 3 goals straight, 18. And in the women's game that just concluded, a big win to Towns. Towns 17 goals, 9, 111 have defeated Rovers, no score. Big weekend of footy. There is another game being played this afternoon out at GBSC Sports Park, and the second place Brigades take on the 6th position Northampton. That'll be an entertaining game. In earlier games today, Brigades were too good for Northampton in the women. In the Colts, Brigades 9-15, 69 defeated Northampton 4-4, 28. And in the reserves, Brigades 8 goals, 9, 57 defeated Northampton 5-32. In the final game of the round, it's being played out at Mazzucchelli Oval with the 4th place Chapman Valley hosting the 3rd side Railways. Very entertaining game this should be. Railways have had the wood on Chapman Valley. They've played each other 3 times in the opening 11 rounds, and it's been a win to Railways on 2 of those occasions, and Railways starting favourites today in that contest. In the Colts game played earlier today, Railways 10-11, 71 defeated Chapman Valley 5-5, 35. In the reserves, Chapman Valley 6-1, 37 defeated Railways 2-5, 17. And in the women's game just concluded, Chapman Valley got another win. Chapman Valley 10 goals, 14 have defeated Railways, no score, so a big win there to the Chapman Valley side. And while we're talking about women's footy, Taylor Broadhouse played her 100th game today for Chapman Valley. She's the first woman in the GNFL competition ever to play 100 games, so we congratulate Taylor Broadhurst. She is their captain at Chapman Valley, premiership captain, and certainly been one of the great stalwarts of the competition in the Great Northern Footy League. Still a young woman, still enjoying a footy, still playing good footy, and we do wish her well on her 100th game today. But as you are aware, we are at Wonthalla again, the WA Country Builders Stadium. Beautiful conditions for football. Breeze not of any consequence, not like last week where it's blowing directly across the ground. Well, it's blowing across the ground to the other side this time. It was blowing to the Floors Road side last week in the game against Northampton, which they won by 22 points. Towns are warming up. They're at the golf club end, and Rovers are warming up at the Wonthalla end, and it's setting itself up for a pretty big afternoon. And I'm joined in commentary, as I always am, by Pete Forenza. G'day, Peter.
Yeah, good afternoon, Glenn. That breeze is a little bit different this afternoon. I think it's coming actually from a northerly direction, a bit gusty at times, but I think if you win the toss, you'd want to be kicking probably to the southern end, the golf course end, to get the breeze at your back. But yeah, this is an interesting encounter, Glenn. We just saw the Dockers go down, surprisingly, to Greater Western Sydney. Could Towns do a Greater Western Sydney here this afternoon? They take on the table leaders Rovers, who have not, like the Fremantle Dockers, have not lost a game this season, and Towns have been not able to beat teams above them, so they need to try and make some inroads if they're going to be impacting come the finals. But the Demons have a pretty good squad out there on the track today, so it'll be pretty hard. They'll be pretty hard to beat.
Who would think so? Rovers are looking pretty good, and they're very much the favourite for today's contest. But as you know, every time you win, you're getting closer to a loss. So who knows? Towns may put up their best performance of the year to topple the league leaders today. Sandra Carr, MLC GNFL umpires this afternoon. Theo Bennett. He is umpiring his 100th league game today, so we wish Theo all the best. He's umpiring alongside his dad, Robert Bennett, who's umpired far more than 100 and still clocking them up. And Cody Miguel is the other umpire. So the other 3 Sandra Carr MLC GNFL umpires this afternoon, and we do wish them well. Towns have come up with a pretty formidable side for this afternoon's game. From the back line, Robert Bonney, Jake Chapman, James Simon. Halfbacks, Caleb Sewell, Cam Hoffhammer, Drew McGregor. Centre line of Leon Jones, Drew Forrester and Aiton Mason. Half forwards, Ray Bonney, Gus Heberley, Josh DeLacy. Full forward line of Jake Bidewell, Jalen Parsons and Graham Sandy. The first ruck, Hugh Bertram, Jay O'Brien and Rex Heberley. Interchange players for the Bulldogs. Leroy Shiozaki, Josh Clune, Noah Ugle and Noah Middleton. So a very good side there coming up for the Town side. And Peter, you've got the Rovers side in front of you.
The back line, it reads Jake Simpson, the half-back line, Jack Eastoff, Kobe Simpson and Rivers Sandels. The centre line, Sheldon Nelly, Tom Denton and Kane Simpson. The centre, the half-forward line, I should say, is Jamin Alone, Clay Azevedo and Farron Parfitt. Gee, that's pretty impressive, Glenn. The forward line is Dwayne Neville, Josh Simpson and Gabriel Parfitt, and equally as impressive. And the ruck division, Blake Tazewell, Chad Daniels and Jason Daniels. So we see Chad Daniels coming into the lineup, Glenn. Of course, he's the brother of Jason Daniels, so it'll be interesting to see him today.
Yes, very much so.
Colin Crudelli, Kyson Crudelli, Brad Roworth and Jacob Troy make up the interchange bench.
So Rovers have come up with a pretty good lineup. We've been very impressed, naturally, as you would be, with Jason Daniels, but looking forward to seeing Chad Daniels this afternoon. Toss of the coin has been done. Jamin Alone doing it for the Rovers side. Drew Forrester doing it for Towns. And we'll see who won the toss in just a moment. And when they get back to their side and tell them which side they're going. The umpires are going into position now. That is the field umpires. And it's pretty good conditions here at Wanthella this afternoon. 3 big games. Round 11 for Medak this afternoon.
Yeah, not too far away from a start here at WA Country Builders Stadium. And, of course, Glenn, this round 11, is the last round before we head to the Country Championships.
Yes, Country Week gets underway next Thursday, and Great Northern taking a Colts side this year, and they've come up with a pretty good side.
Gee, it is a good side indeed.
And, of course, we'll be calling all the action on Thursday, and the first game is at 10 o'clock, and then the second game is at 12 o'clock, and the final game is at 3 o'clock. So big games. The regional development, regional districts is the first game. That's at 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock the Southwest, and then at 3 o'clock we've got Peel. So some big games. They are 20-minute halves, as you recall. It's a round-robin competition, so they're 20-minute halves. And as we've seen in AFL footy this weekend, Peter, you can't afford to let the side get away to a good start. You've got to be up with them or the game gets away from you very, very quickly, particularly in those games, as we've seen in the big games in the AFL this weekend. If you get 6 or 7 goals behind, it makes it very, very hard to come back.
Yes, so the West Coast Eagles supporters lamenting last night's game at Optus Oval. Of course, 6 goals in arrears with about only 20 minutes into the first term. But players moving into positions now. It looks like that Towns are kicking toward the Wanthella end, so they are against a breeze, I'd imagine. They're kicking toward that end. I can see Jalen Parsons headed that way. So Rovers are kicking toward the golf club end. So moments from a start here at WA Country Builders Stadium, and as you said, it's a milestone. If I don't know if you mentioned it, then a milestone for the central umpire today.
Yeah, Theo Bennett umpiring his 100th game, and we do wish him well. Umpire to throw the ball up. Blake Tazewell doing the rucking for Rovers, but the Towns player gets the best of it. And Towns quickly go forward as Drew Forrester gets boot the ball, gets it up towards half forward. Rovers have it on half back. Rovers player going in there, couldn't control the ball. Whistle on play, free kick has been picked out, and in fact the umpire will throw it up. Opening minute of this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. In our match of the day on Drilling O'Malley Motors Game Day, picked up now by Jay O'Brien, gets boot the ball. Ball goes towards the forward line. In goes, once again, picked up by Josh DeLacy. Throws boot the ball. Ball runs over the back of the pack and off hands and goes through for a force behind. And on the scoreboard for Chemist Warehouse in this first quarter. First score goes on the board for Towns. Towns are 1 behind and Rovers are yet to score.
Bulldogs attacking early in this round 11 encounter. On the far side, Kobe Simpson with the ball. A nice kick out to the Forth Road side of the ground. River Sandell's running in. He can't collect it. The ball goes to ground. He gets a second bite of the cherry. In fact, it's Damon Alone that gets a handball across to a teammate that's running onto it now toward the boundary. That player is Clay Azevedo, and he sees it over at the central wing position, right below the windsock, which doesn't know what it's doing at the moment. You can hear the breeze in our headsets here this afternoon, and you'll hear it in the broadcast, but I suspect it is favouring the Wanthella end. Ball coming out of that passage of play off the boot of a Bulldog into space now. Running onto the ball is Josh DeLacy. He can't get his mitts on it. Goes to ground. Is quickly wrapped up. The ball will be thrown up just inside the centre square. So Rovers, as we've said, unbeaten so far this season. Coming out of that passage to play, it is Forrester who puts it onto his boot, the captain. He sends it into the inside the big arc, and it's the defenders for Rovers that have the ball now, but they're finding a lot of pressure from the brigade, I should say, the Bulldogs forwards, who continue to push it forward as they go around the outskirts of the oval and take it over the boundary. So it's in the half-forward area now for Towns. They're kicking in this direction toward the Wanthella end. See the beautiful hills in the background after the rain. Nice green hills. The Moresby Rangers. The ball comes off a Rovers boot. It's into space, but running onto it now is Towns or is Rovers. Rovers do the better. They haven't had it in their forward area until this point, as we see the ball come off the boot of that player, Eastoff. He sends it into space. Running onto it is Farron Parfitt. He slaps to a teammate who does well to get it back to another red and black Guernsey, but it's the defenders for Towns that do the better on this occasion. They quickly put it onto their boot, send it down the corridor. They juggle it like it's a hot potato as it goes away at Forrester now. He gets it away to a teammate who's quickly bottled up. Caught in possession, one would think. The umpire says no prior opportunity, and the ball will be thrown up just inside the centre square.
Umpire Miguel puts the ball into the air. The big fellas go at it. Rovers player was interfered with, so Rovers Blake Tazewell will take the free kick. The big ruckman plays on quickly, kicks it up towards full forward, looking up there for Farron Parfitt. He's got 3 to beat. The Towns players go in on him. Ball is held. Umpire will come in and throw the ball up. This time, umpire Robert Bennett is in control. We're about 50 metres from goal on the right half forward flank at the golf club end, the end to which we find Rovers going in this quarter. Whistle on play once again. The player was held. An umpire has to come in and throw the ball up. So, tight contest this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. Ball comes out, goes the way of Tom Denton. The JJ Clune medalist screws the ball around the corner, but he's offline. And on the scoreboard for Chemist Warehouse, it is Towns who have got 1 point, and so too have Rovers now with that kick from Denton.
Yeah, I think the breeze is playing with the minds of our players out there and causing a few problems as the ball comes back the way of Towns now. Forrester is in everything, always, and again, he is today. He gets it over to a teammate now, goes down the ground, and Leon Jones. Jones into space. That player he finds, moves forward now. That's in O'Brien. O'Brien, a nice little chip pass, finds Hebley. Hebley now just inside the centre square. He elects to play on now, gets it to a teammate who's put under pressure. He puts it onto his boot. He sends it inboard, and Graham Sandy, who came into the side last week, takes a mark, plays on, and a beautiful kick. Gee, that was just sensational stuff, and it went straight down the throat of one Jalen Parsons.
So Jalen Parsons had a good day last week. He kicked 5 goals. And he was probably the difference between Northampton and Towns.
Towns have got the measure of Rovers at the moment, Clem.
So Jalen Parsons, can he get his first major of the afternoon? And as most forwards are, he's a confidence-boosted player. When he gets a little bit of accuracy, he's got a very good goal. His first of the afternoon, 40 metres out, straight through the goals. And a good goal on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. Towns' first major of the afternoon. Towns go to 1 goal, 1-7. And they lead Rovers 1 behind. So a good contest here, early days. 5 minutes gone in this first term. Other games being played today. If you want to see some good footy, Brigades are taking on Northampton out there at GBSC Sports Park. And a big contest out at Mazzucchelli Oval at Nabwa, where we see Chapman Valley hosting Railways, which should be a very interesting contest, like they all are this afternoon.
Doesn't seem that long ago that we were out at Zambler Truck Oval watching these two combatants go at it.
Well, it wasn't.
They're back doing it again. Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. And again in that game, it was Towns who got the upper hand early. Rovers, a bit of a rabble early, and they are again this afternoon. As Tazewell wins it on that occasion, gets it down to his Rover, and there's Tom Denton onto his boot, into space now. Up they go. That player goes to try and take the mark in Azevedo. He can't get his mitts up there. He gets a second bite of the cherry, goes to ground. It's Towns who have it, but there's Denton again. He weaves through a couple of players, puts it into space, looking for Azevedo to run onto it. But it looks like it's Drew McGregor that does the better. But McGregor has nowhere to go. He's quickly bottled up and tackled by Jamin Alone. And Jamin Alone has got the free kick. Caught in possession Alone. The talented player sends it into the corridor. He's looking for one player. That player does well, and Farron Parfitt quickly puts it onto his boot and misses all and sundry and puts it out on the full.
Out on the full, as Peter mentioned, so the ball will be brought back in by the Towns defence. They go across the goals. comes the way of Hebley. Rex Hebley plays on quickly. Looking there for Drew Forrester. Gives Rovers an opportunity. They make something out of nothing. Picked up by Dwayne Neville. He kicks it in towards the forward pocket. Looking there for a teammate. That teammate is Tom Denton. A pack develops and the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. Umpire Theo Bennett. 3 umpires this afternoon. Theo Bennett, Robert Bennett and Cody Miguel, the Sandy Carr MLC umpires this afternoon for this round 11 contest for Medak. Once again, the umpire will come in and throw the ball up. Time ticking by. Still a very, very tight contest. The breeze is blowing on the Kia windsock across the ground from the east side to the west side to the clubroom side. Picked up by Alone. Throws boot to ball, but he is offline on this occasion. 1 point only. And on the scoreboard for Chemist Warehouse, Rovers are 2 behinds and Towns are 1 goal 1.
All coming out of defence now. They're under siege somewhat now, Towns. Rovers doing most of the attacking in the recent 10 or so minutes. Coming out the way now of this player. He does well every week. And Josh DeLacy. He's got a bit of talent. He comes wide now. He's looking for the custodian and Jake Chapman. Chapman goes down the line now. He finds Jones. Jones in turn. In fact, it is the player that gets the ball on this occasion is Shiozaki. Shiozaki sends it inboard and finds DeLacy again. DeLacy, the general at centre forward. He sends it into the full forward area. Parsons. Not at the back, but in fact it's McDonald. And he takes a mark and now will shoot on goal. So Rovers had it down there for a little while, Glenn, and played around with it. Could not get a score. And just like that, Towns have it up in their full forward area and we're shooting on goal again. Yes,
Rovers are coming off a bye. They're playing like they're coming off a bye too. They look a bit flat.
They are.
And Towns, to their credit, are starting the game well. And they must make some hay while the sun shines. And Noah Ugle is that player. He can do that. Shoots on goal. And he is offline. 1 point only. So on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, Towns go to 1 goal 2. And we see Rovers are 2 behinds. So Rovers to bring the ball back in. And the player to do that is Simpson. Kobe Simpson brings the ball in, looking out there for a teammate in Bradley Roworth. Roworth near the boundary line, sees the ball across the boundary line. So there'll be a boundary throw in front of the Rovers coaches box, as Corey and Brodie Smith have a chat to some of their players on the boundary line. Kane Simpson getting some advice. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. Ball comes a bit shallow. Comes back in towards the player there in Azevedo. Azevedo very close to the boundary line. Ball is out of play. And the boundary umpire will throw the ball back in once more. So, time ticking by in this first term. We've played 9.5 minutes in this first quarter with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. So only 1 goal on the board so far. And a very, very tight contest it is. Picked up now by Simpson, who's tackled high.
Kane Simpson on a half-back flank now. He sends it down the wing. He's looking for Tom Denton. Oh, nice mark. He beat 3 to do that as well. Only had eyes for the ball. Tom Denton, the Clue medalist. Looking for options down ground as Zavado runs past, and he doesn't go that option. He sends it inboard. Geez, why did he pick that? It goes straight down the throat of that player in Jay O'Brien. Jay O'Brien now is a player that can make things happen for Towns. He can be seen at all stations on the ground as he goes laterally now and finds Forrester. Forrester now. He goes further afield. Slowing things down somewhat. They do have a bit of control of this game, do Towns. They lead on the scoreboard 1 goal 2 to Rovers, just the 2 points on the far side. Looks like it's Hebley that has it. Hebley on the far expanses of WA Country Builder Stadium goes down the Floors Road side of the ground. Coming off the pack, it's Towns that can run onto it now. There's 3, there's 4 of them. They're running in packs now as they send it inside the full foot area. Jalen Parsons goes up, can't take the mark. Kobe Simpson right on his hammer, goes to ground. He's able to collect it. Bo Simpson comes in. He's tackled, caught in possession. And, he was a little bit too slow on that occasion. And now Jalen Parsons will have another shot on goal. He's already got 1 this afternoon. Can he get 2 in his many moments?
Yeah, Jalen Parsons, he kicked 1 from a little bit further out for his first opportunity. So Towns starting to get a little bit of value for effort, especially if Parsons gets this through the goals. Directly in front from 35 metres. Goal umpire doesn't move. Jalen Parsons, he's pretty excited about it. So too are his teammates. And on the scoreboard for Chemist Warehouse this afternoon, Towns are now 2 goals 2-14. They lead Rovers 2 behinds. So a good start. Breeze blowing across the ground and perhaps favouring the golf club end.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, Glenn? Because it's it's just been spinning around a little bit, and I think it's playing havoc with the players out there, but Towns handling it the better at the moment.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how things go from here. Towns want to keep the pressure on and get another score on the board as quickly as they can. Rovers in reverse, they are certainly well and truly in this contest. But at the moment, Towns are showing a clean set of heels and moving the ball very, very well when going forward. Ball back in the centre with umpire Bennett. Theo Bennett puts the ball into the air in his 100th game. Comes to ground, picked up again by Towns. Towns player has the ball dropped, and free kick will go the way of Rovers. So Rovers get the free kick. Drew Forrester was the player who was dispossessed of the ball. Clay Azevedo has the ball, and he'll bring the ball forward for the Demons. And he gets it up the ground, finds Alone. Alone puts it on his left boot, kicks it towards full forward. Nobody home for Rovers, but a good mark taken back there by Chapman, who's been in good form for the Town side. He was one of their better players last week. Gets it out around the ground to McGregor. McGregor gets it up the ground and finds Middleton. Middleton kicks it up towards centre ground. And a good mark taken there by the player in Bidewell. Bidewell for Towns, a new player in the club this year. Gets a short pass and finds O'Brien. Jay O'Brien on centre wing. Centres the ball now. Josh DeLacy's there, has the ball slapped away from him by the Rovers player in River Sandals. The Town's still in control, goes back towards Middleton. Middleton gets it back towards the player there in DeLacy. Whistle on play, umpire's seen a free kick. And it'll go the way of Rovers and go the way of Daniels.
Daniels now, not a good kick, but he puts it into space. Running onto it is Azevedo, doesn't get the bounce kindly. The ball continues to go forward. Azevedo does well to collect it. The whistle has sounded. The player is dealt with off the ball.
Yeah, he didn't have the ball.
He didn't have the ball, and the ball will come back to the Towns player who kicks it further afield. And it's Towns have it on the far side. Looks like it's DeLacy that has it out there. DeLacy now getting a few possessions early. Just in front of the scoreboard. He kicks it down the Floors Road side of the ground. Players setting themselves. At the back of the pack is a Simpson. A simplex, you could say, but none of those Simpsons could take the mark. The ball goes to ground. Coming on top of it is the Towns players who are really putting on the pressure this afternoon. Hebley's one of those. He takes a mark at centre wing. Onto his boot and further afield, but further back, the mark is taken by Simpson. Simpson goes laterally now. Rovers trying to work out their structure. They think the game's going to just happen for them. They need to take stock now because Towns are playing with some structure and it's paying off as we see the ball go the way of a player there who did well in Caleb Sewell. Caleb Sewell sends it inboard and finds Leon Jones. Leon Jones now. He's got some space, some time. He sends it further afield. The player was all on his lonesome. Didn't take the mark, luckily for Bo Simpson. He gathers and mops up. He sends it further afield down the ground, creating a contest. I don't know why he had to do that, but he put his teammates under pressure. The ball goes to ground. No one could take any mark, and the ball will be thrown up. Not far away from our broadcast position for Radio Mama and the dugout for Towns. Up it goes now. Players setting themselves. Tazewell up in the ruck. He knocks it down to Alone. Alone working hard to try and get that first major on the board for the Demons. He goes once, twice, three times, gets it out of the pack, goes back the way now of a player that's new into the lineup today in Chad Daniels, the tattooed Chad Daniels. He sends it to a teammate, but that teammate loses possession. But there is Simpson, Kane Simpson. He does well. Well, who does he do well? Because he loses possession as the Towns players move forward like a panzer division and ensure that the player doesn't go any further. Thrown up in the middle of the ground now. Up they go, Tazewell. Up into the right, going back the way of Alone. The whistle has sounded, though, something else off play.
Free kick.
Free kick going the way of, this time, I think it's Farron Parfitt. So the ball come back to Farron Parfitt. Rovers look quite desperate now to get their first major on the board, Glenn.
Yes, we've played 16 minutes in this first term with thanks to Community Bank Geraldton. Farron Parfitt looks for a run, and now he runs out towards centre wing where he picks out a teammate. That teammate is Jack Eastoff. Jack Eastoff back playing more footy for Rovers this year. Played last year with the West Coast Eagles reserve side, or the Waffles side. He gets a short pass and finds Kane Simpson. Kane Simpson gives it to brother Bo. Bo runs towards the 50-metre line, puts it on his left boot, kicks it up towards full forward, and Tom Denton stands his ground and takes a good mark. Plays on quickly, looking for Dwayne Simpson, and all too easy. And Dwayne Simpson has taken a very good mark.
Almost made a mess of it, Glenn.
Dwayne Simpson took a good mark, running with the flight of the ball. He's marked, and he's only 10 metres out, directly in front. So Rovers will get a relieving goal in the latter stages of this first term. It won't be a long quarter because there hasn't been a lot of goals scored.
No.
Still, we haven't reached time on yet, but Dwayne Simpson shoots on goal.
Geez.
Gee whiz. And Dwayne got a bad one there because it went right off the side of the boot.
Geez.
He was 10 metres out and kicked it out on the full, which was a bit of a surprise to him and everyone else. So Towns have an opportunity to relieve the pressure. Towns get the ball up towards the half-back line. Good mark taken there by the Towns player who stands his ground. That's Drew Forrester. Forrester centres the ball, running with the flight of the ball. Good mark taken there by his teammate in Raymond Bonney. He gets it out towards a teammate in Graham Sandy. Sandy kicks it forward, goes the way of Ugle. Ugle gets another short pass, looking there for a teammate. That teammate is Gus Hebley. Hebley centres the ball, sets it up. Rovers in best position. Ball runs free. Rovers player had the ball slapped away from him and his arms, and he was interfered with. And umpire Miguel says it's Rovers' free kick. Rovers get to relieve the pressure.
I'll say it again. Towns playing the better football to this point of the game, Glenn. They don't have as much structure. They're trying to run and stun. It's not paying off. Bo Simpson goes right down the ground now to accept a mark from his brother Kane. But, gee, the directional kick was terrible.
He's kicking on his left foot today, so he must have something wrong with his right foot.
Easily marked and by the defence for Towns. They kick it to the outer side. The Falls Road side of the ground, a bit of a contest there. And the line's in everything so far this afternoon, but he's not getting much support from what I can see. The Rovers players, as I said, just waiting for things to happen. Up they go now. The ball is knocked down by Eastoff on this occasion, going to ground. Struggling to get any momentum either side at this stage. The ball goes away of Towns, or is it? The player there is Hoffhammer. He's unable to get any fluidity with his handball. The ball back into a host of players. The umpire just letting it go on. It is a very messy affair out there at the moment as he elects to slow things down, the umpire, and regain control. He throws it up again just outside the centre square, across from our broadcast position for Radio Mama and Radio Gerald, and the ball into the full-forward area, and there is again Tom Denton. So Tom Denton will try and kick it from about 45 metres, or maybe a bit more than that.
52.
Yeah. You're better at the math than me, Glenn.
Well, he's 2 metres back from the...
Yeah, I agree with you.
From
I totally
the 50-metre line.
I totally agree. Yeah, totally agree. Yep. In he comes now. It's not the best of kicks. It's going to drop short. Players setting themselves.
Oh,
the base of the pack. Simpson tries to take the mark. Rovers have all the play here. Can they make something of it? Josh Simpson gets the ball. He tries to give it away like a hot potato. Comes out of a host of players. Goes back the way of Eastoff. He sends it inside the corridor. But they're all Towns there. But it goes to ground. And can he make something out of it? At the bottom, he does. He makes up for what he did earlier. And that's Dwayne Neville. He rode the ball off that little pack there in the goal score. And in the goal square, I should say, and scores the first goal for Rovers.
Yes, there's no doubt Dwayne would be very, very happy to have got that goal. He had to work hard, a little bit harder than he did his first opportunity, but he's made a very, very good fist of that, worked his way through, got the goal done.
Remind me of Jake Waterman when we missed that one right in front a couple of weeks ago. He did something quite similar in the next passage of play, didn't he?
That's right. So looking at the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, Rovers are back in town. There's only a goal in it. Towns have done all the work, and they haven't really got the pressure on the scoreboard at the moment. As we head into time on, won't be a long quarter, as I mentioned just a moment ago. Towns are 2 goals, 2-14. They lead Rovers 1 goal, 2-8. So we've got a 6-point ball game, and still anybody's contest, as you'd expect, this stage of the game. And it was disappointing that Rovers had their chances to get a goal earlier. Took them a while, and Towns had their opportunities there too to save the day, but they got in each other's road, and Rovers were able to mop up and get the job done.
2-2-14 plays 1-2-8 later stages of this, the first term. Incidentally brought to you by Community Bank Geraldton. So hello to everyone down there. Of course, Community Bank, the only bank that's open on a Saturday morning in Geraldton, that's for sure. Up until air they go now. It's knocked down the throat of a teammate there, and it's Kobe Bursell who's in the ruck at the moment. And the free kick has gone the way of the Demons. They send it into the half-forward area, and they get another free kick, and can they do something with it? Starting to get some momentum now. The ball is with Farron Parfitt. He weaves through a couple of players, shoots straight on goal, but he's been inaccurate. No, he hasn't. Farron Parfitt has scored the goal of the afternoon to this point, and he took him on, Glenn, and he certainly got paid dividends.
That's the sort of player he is. Farron Parfitt getting a much-needed goal, and all of a sudden, scores are level as we head towards quarter time. It's 14 points apiece, 2 goals, 2, and that's on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. But a beautiful bit of play there from Farron Parfitt. He was legged early, but he went back and he finished it off well. And he is another confidence player, gets a few touches and he starts to get a little bit of the ball. As we see one Rovers player coming off for a spell and another one going back on. And the one going back on gets the ball back towards the centre of the ground. So the ball running free and the umpire waiting for the ball to return to the centre. It is now. And Theo Bennett will put the ball into the air. 14 points apiece. So we've played a quarter and we're back to where we started.
Ball back in the middle, as Glenn mentioned. Getting pretty close to quarter time here, and the status quo is equal. 14 apiece. Rovers have certainly brought themselves back into the competition. Into the competition, I should say, of this game. As the ball goes away of Daniels now, puts it onto his boots, into the half-forward area. Can they get another goal late in the term as the ball bounces inside the corridor? A beautiful tackle by Alone, doesn't pay dividends. The ball spills free. The umpire says nothing in that. It goes away now. This player, I think it's Rivers Sandels, gets to a teammate. He loses possession. Quickly set up on, though. Good tackle. Town's defence are under all sorts of problems now as Rovers get the ball and shoot on goal. It's a check side kick. Is it a goal? Yes, it is. That was a ripper. That was a terrific goal. And it was won by Kane Simpson, I think it was. Kane Simpson or Josh Simpson. Let's go Josh Simpson. In fact, I have to double check on that one. I think it might have been 36. He's got Kane Simpson's 36, I think. So Kane Simpson running in, check side kick, and he used the breeze, Glenn. And it was a remarkable goal. And Rovers have taken the lead suddenly here at Drennan O'Malley game day.
Yeah, it's amazing. Rovers kicked their first goal at the 20-minute mark. They kicked one at 21, and now they've kicked one at 23. So the importance of keeping the pressure on when time is on, when you're into time on, and we've seen Rovers kick 3 goals in time on and take the lead as we head towards quarter time. Looking at the scoreboard as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton, at quarter time out there at Mazzucchelli Oval. Railways are away to a flyer. Railways are 4 goals, 5. The lead, Chapman Valley, 2 behinds.
Rovers have the lead here. 20 plays, 14 as the ball goes to the outer side. Town's doing the better out of that passage of play. The ball now with Middleton. Middleton wearing the helmet. He sends it down into the pocket or just inside the forward 50. But it's Rovers' defence to do the better. Take it toward the boundary, or do they? And the ball is taken over. So the ball to be thrown in now. Towns want a quick answer if they're to regain the lead before the break. As Glenn said, this quarter probably should be almost over. It's 24 and a half minutes gone. The ball coming in now. The back of the pack, a couple of players. It's going toing and froing on the far side, going toward the boundary. And this ground is such a big ground, and the game often becomes quite scrambly because there is a siren to announce that it is quarter time in a Drennan O'Malley game day, and Towns perhaps in the better half of that first term, but it's Rovers that are in front at quarter time. And at quarter time here in our Drennan O'Malley game day, it is Rovers 3-2-20. They lead Towns 2-2-14. And you're listening to the home of football. This is Radio Mama. Live on Radio Mama, it's your GNFL match of the day. Thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors.
Hi Deadly Mob, what are you doing this Sunday between 10 and 3? Why not come along and join in on the NAIDOC opening concert and awards ceremony at the Queen's Park Theatre? All this to celebrate 50 deadly years of NAIDOC. A vibrant day for all ages, live music, markets, barbecue and a whole bunch of community spirit for the whole family. So come make your way down to Queen's Park Theatre, Sunday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. This is a community service announcement for Grams and the team here at Radio Mama, where we put more country in your country. See you there.
You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day, thanks to Sandra Carr MLC and Skeeter's Restaurant and Cafe, open all day, every day, on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
And Parsons has kicked 2. Looking at our contenders for the Skeeter's Restaurant Player of the Day, better players for Towns in that first quarter. Josh DeLacy working hard in defence. Jalen Parsons with those 2 goals. Drew Forrester in the midfield trying to get his side up and going. Noah Ugle looks good up forward. And Jake Chapman ever reliable back in defence.
Okay, better players for Rovers in no particular order, Glenn. Jamin Malone, Tom Dedden, Farron Parfitt, Kane and Kane Simpson.
Ball back in the centre, about to get this second term underway for Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack. And, Towns would have to feel a little bit disappointed. They had the control of the game for the first 20 minutes, but in the last 4 minutes, Rovers were able to use their skill and agility to get the ball over the line and through for the goals. Whistle on play, free kick's been picked out in the opening passage of play, and the second term goes the way of Tazewell, feeds it out to the player there in Daniels. Daniels gets it up the ground, goes back in, does Daniels. That's the brother. That is Chad Daniels. Whistle on play. Towns stand firm. Good free kick taken by Leon Jones. He goes out wide, looking for Rex Hebley. Hebley's got pace, grabs the ball, big kick, up towards full forward, looking there for Parsons. But once again, Simpson does well. That is Kobe Simpson. Ball held to him. Umpire said, give it to me, boys and girls. We'll throw the ball up. We're all boys out here. But boys, throw the ball up. Well, we just saw the women's game. See, I'm in touch with my feminine
I think
side.
you need to quit while you're in front.
Yeah.
Hey, the ball coming in now. Players diving on top of each other. And we're only metres away from the goal at the golf club end. So, up it goes now, into which Towns are kicking in this particular quarter, coming off the boot of Bonnie. Gee, that was a nice big kick by Bonnie. Unlucky for him, a bit of a helicopter went way to one side and through for the minor score. So the breeze coming back again like it was last weekend, Glenn, directly across the ground at the moment, according to that windsock, but slightly favouring the end to where the golf club is, the beautiful Geraldton Golf Club. Went out there a couple of weeks ago with my good mate Dean Kelver. Had a bit of a hit, and that's about it. I won't go any more into it. And the ball slapped through for a minor score there as the ball comes in from Towns once again. So Towns quickly into attack. They trail by 6 points at quarter time when Rovers surmounted their lead late in the first term. The ball on the half-back line now, going the way of Eastoff. Gee, he went around the player and did a strange kick by Eastoff and finds the sanctuary of the boundary. So the ball about to be thrown in now for Towns. I should say toward the end to which Towns are kicking, I should say. The ball into space. It's picked up now by Eastoff again. He gets another bite of the cherry. Going the way of Dwayne Neville now. Neville quickly slips over. Was able to recover. The ball goes back the way of DeLacy now. DeLacy on the half-forward flank for Towns. Sends it into the half-forward area. But there's Kobe Simpson, Mr. Reliable. Takes a nice mark for the Demons. The helmeted Simpson goes laterally now. Finds his brother Kane. Kane now goes further afield to the outer side. Finds a player out there, working hard, and that player looks for options as he sends it inboard. I think it's River Sandels who has the ball now at centre-half back. Dave Friends, my brother, is big raps for River Sandels. He's got a bit of talent and is waiting to emerge. The ball on the far side is with Rovers now. They're starting to get their mojo together as Jamin alone just shrugs off a tackle. Puts it into space. He receives it back. He'll play on now. He goes one way then the other. He does don't argue twice. Gives it away. The ball comes forward. The mark is taken by Daniels. Daniels sees the lead, and there he is again. The man that kicked the last goal for Rovers. In fact, it was the first goal for Rovers this afternoon, and he will have a shot on goal. So Rovers back into attack early in this, the second term, and Dwayne Neville will shoot on goal. He's going to go short, though. Don't know what he was doing, but that player in Daniels did. He plays on another short one. Well, they're playing with the Rovers, but they got out of jail here as the ball goes forward now. Now Tom Denton will have a shot on goal. So Rovers, Glenn, starting to get their act together somewhat.
Yeah, moving the ball around. It was far too easy. As you said,
was,
there was three little passes. You need to be looking after your man a little bit closer in these sort of contests in the 50-metre zone. And Rovers have an opportunity. Tom Denton lining up for another goal for his side. And Tom has been in good form again this year. And he shoots and gets a minor score. And on the board for Total Workwear in this second term. With thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack, we see that Rovers go to 3 goals, 3-21. They lead Towns 2-4-16. So we've got a 7-point ball game as we quickly go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirralie War, the member for Geraldton. In the game out there at Brigades 5 goals straight, 30, lead Northampton 2-1-13. And the game there at Mazzucchelli Oval, Railways 4-5, lead Chapman Valley 2 points. That's the scores at quarter time. Towns have the ball with Drew Forrester, their captain. Kicks it up towards centre wing. Good mark taken by Big Gus Hebley, just in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box here in the Podge Jackson stand at Wonthella, WA Country Builders Stadium. Gus Hebley sets sail for home. His kick is not a good one. Out of bounds on the full. So Rovers get the opportunity to bring the ball back in. Glenn. It certainly did. So Rovers get the chance to bring the ball back in. It's on the half-back line. So Rovers to bring the ball back into play. Rovers started the quarter very well. They've kicked 1 point so far, but they had their opportunity to get the first score on the board with a goal, but it wasn't to be. There goes the kick from Jack Eastoff. Gets it up towards centre wing. A Towns player was interfered with, and the Towns player will take the resultant free kick, and Towns will get the ball through Robert Bonney. So Robert Bonney on centre wing. In fact, it may be Jay O'Brien's free kick. Jay O'Brien with the free kick. Plays on. Short pass. Beautiful kick. Finds Leon Jones on centre wing, right near the square. He goes in towards the centre now, looking for a teammate who runs through the passage of play there. Well done to Shiozaki. Shiozaki kicks it forward. Nobody home for Towns. And a good mark taken there by Jack Eastoff for Rovers. And Rovers work their way out of trouble, and they have the ball way out wide with Kobe Bursell.
Kobe didn't know what he wanted to do with it then. Luckily, he got to a teammate. That teammate is Kane Simpson. Goes further afield and finds Kobe Simpson. Jack Eastoff getting a lot of play here this afternoon, probably amongst the better players as well in that first term. Missing me to miss him. The ball at centre wing with Kobe Simpson now. He sends it into the half-forward area. Credelli will run onto it, or will he? He'll run over the ball. The ball goes into space, picked up by the defenders for Towns now. They come laterally now. In goes Farron Parfitt, tries to intercept a ball, unable to do so, but he gets it back to Daniels. Daniels gives it away now to a teammate. He shoots on goal. That's Azevedo, but right in the goal square, it's marked by O'Brien. Out of defence now, O'Brien at both ends of the ground.
That was Hoffhammer to O'Brien.
To O'Brien. The ball coming out now. Rovers can make something up here as the ball goes in now through Nally. Nally didn't give it anyone in particular. Player is quickly set upon. And the umpire says he was tackled a little high. So lucky for him, the ball on the half-back line now. For Towns, comes down the ground. They have it now, just in front of the Podge Jackson grandstand. The whistle sounds.
Free kick up the ground.
Oh, there we go. You don't need that. So a few of the Rovers players not happy with decisions, but being paid the ultimate decision for that. As the ball goes forward now, Atten Mason. He's got a bit of room now. Could do some damage now because of that indiscretion. Goes away now. Josh DeLacy. DeLacy now on the half-forward line. Sends it forward. Up go a couple of players. To the back of the pack. Goes away now. The Towns player is quickly wrapped up. The defence for Rovers working overtime as they try and get it out. But there's Hebley. Nice little handball to DeLacy. DeLacy shoots on goal. That's a nice kick by DeLacy. And it marked right in the goal square. So the breeze is interesting this afternoon. The ball is not able to go the full distance. And the ball now coming out of defence for Rovers as we see it being kicked out on the full. So it is, all over the place here this afternoon.
Yeah, very strange indeed. Rex Hebley will have the resultant free kick. He's 50 metres from goal on the boundary line. Golf club end of the ground. Gets a short pass forward, looking to get some movement, and Towns have it again. This time a good mark taken from Raymond Bonney. Bonney still a fair way from goals. Goes with another short pass.
Nice.
He picks Jalen Parsons. So Jalen Parsons is 20 metres out, right on the boundary line, in the right forward pocket, golf club end.
I can't remember whether I've seen him do some check sides, Glenn, but he's pretty good right in front. He's pretty good at the traditional kicks, but I can't remember whether he's done a check side, but he's not even going to try by the looks of this.
So Jalen Parsons, can he get his third of the afternoon and get Towns back in the lead?
He does the check side.
Looks pretty good. Looks very good, but across the face of goals and out of bounds on the full. So Rovers get to relieve the pressure. So it went from one side pocket to the other side pocket. So Rovers to bring the ball back in after it hit the point post about halfway up. So the defender for Rovers brings the ball in, and he's picked out Clay Azevedo. Azevedo in the back pocket gets a short pass up along the half-back line where he picks out a teammate there. And once again, Rovers have the run now. Goes the way of the player there in Sandal. He gets the ball forward. And kick goes forward now, but Towns in best position, and McGregor, who's been good in the last few weeks, takes a good strong mark on centre wing and sets the ball back to Townsend, or he runs around his man on the mark eventually, kicks it up the ground, goes the way of Drew Forrester. Drew Forrester 60 metres from goal, kicks it towards full forward, looking there for some run from some Towns players.
Towns can do something here.
Jalen Parsons slips over the crucial stage, ball gets slapped through. And a force behind. And on the total workwear scoreboard, it is Towns 2-5-17. They trail Rovers 3-3-21.
Quickly out of defence now for Rovers, but they can't find their targets as the ball is mopped up. Quickly bottled up in the half-back area, picked up by Simpson now. He gets it to a teammate now, Simpson to Simpson. That's Josh Simpson who gets it back to Kane Simpson, who's tackled high. It's a free kick down the ground. Goes away now, Daniels. That's Chad Daniels. New inclusion into the sign-up. Alone. He can go right up into the full-forward area. There he gives it to Farron Parfitt. He looks where the goals are. He's going to jog right in. Bang, through the middle. Rovers get their 4th goal of the afternoon.
So the ball's gone over the fence and Farron's gone to retrieve it. So on the scoreboard for total work, where a little bit of action happening behind the play there. And Rovers may be lifting their energy levels as the scoreboard ticks over. And we see that Rovers are 4 goals, 3-27. Towns are 2 goals, 5-17. So we saw Towns be pretty good for a 10-minute period, but then that fell away from them. Farron Parfitt now has his 2nd goal of the afternoon for Rovers. Goal scorers for Rovers, Farron Parfitt has 2. Dwayne Neville and Kane Simpson has the 1 apiece. And Jalen Parsons for Towns has the 2 goals.
Jamin Lane's doing what he wants at will at the moment, Glenn.
Yes, he is. He's certainly having a bit of a birthday, but we know he's a class act.
Yeah.
And he is certainly doing it quite well. The ball will return to the centre now. And the Rovers player, Farron Parfitt, after he kicked it to Wanthella, had to go and retrieve it, so which was good of him to do. And the ball is back at the centre now. And the boundary umpire gets the ball back to the centre. Umpire Theo Bennett very, very quickly done a great job getting the ball back to the centre. So we've played 12 minutes in this second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the federal member for Durack, and Theo Bennett. In his 100th game, he's one of the umpires this afternoon for Sandra Carr, MLC, as she supports the GNFL umpires and the officials. The ball comes the way of Drew Forrester. Forrester goes out wide, looking out there for a teammate, but the ball is a bad one. And Rovers can do something with it, but Clay Azevedo slips up at the crucial stage. So Towns can kick it back towards half forward. There's 2 Rovers players, whistle on play, and the Towns players interfered with the Rovers players, and the free kick will go the way of Rovers. And Bo Simpson is that player on half-back who will have the free kick. He comes across the ground, looking out there for Kobe Bursell. Kobe takes a good, strong mark. Bursell plays on, looks to the player there in Josh Simpson. The 31-year-old grabs the ball, kicks it up towards the centre wing. Towns have an opportunity now. Josh Simpson's met solidly by Noah Middleton's met solidly. Comes the way of Jamin Alone. Jamin Alone gets a kick forward, goes up towards the player there in Daniels. Daniels has the ball now, puts it on his right boot, screws it around the corner. Ball running free. And once again, Farron Parfitt puts a handle on it. And Noah Middleton in the hands of the trainers on centre wing. Ball goes the way of the player there in Daniels.
Chad Daniels.
Chad Daniels has got his first of the afternoon.
Farron Parfitt very clever there, Glenn. He was almost gang tackled by about 3 players. He slipped to the ground, handballed over his head. Daniels there to accept the ball and slotted it straight through the goals.
So a very good goal there from Chad Daniels as Noah Middleton comes off for a spell. As we also see Leon Jones coming off for a spell. And, of course, Noah Middleton will be looked at by the trainers and assessed, but he looks to be in reasonably good condition. Ball back in the centre. So a bit of atmosphere coming to the game. Rovers supporters getting behind their team. Rovers players starting to lift. And on the total workwear scoreboard, it is Rovers 5-3-33. They lead Towns 2-5-17.
Yes, so Rovers starting to get the ascendancy here this afternoon in our Drennan O'Malley game day. This quarter brought to you, incidentally, by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Melissa will be having a bit of a break now with the winter session, I think, over. There's a bit of a break over there in Canberra. But the ball coming out in the middle now goes away of Denton. Denton to his ruckman, who tries to juggle it forward but is unsuccessful. Towns do the better out of that. The ball comes wide now, going the way of Atten Mason. He puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area. Up the half-back line, though, Roworth. Nice little chip kick and finds Josh Simpson. He sells the dummy, then sees the lead. The lead is by Tazewell, but Tazewell was a little bit late to accept the ball. He loses possession. The ball goes to ground. A free kick will go the way of Towns through Forrester, one of the better players again this afternoon. Forrester sent it into the full-forward area, and there's Bonnie that takes the mark. In fact, as Leon Jones, I think he plays on now, straight down the corridor. It was a nice kick. No one could take the mark. Two players were contested for it, one from either side. The ball goes to ground, and then we ball up in the shadows of the goals for Towns. Time ticking away. It is 15 minutes, just over 15 minutes gone in the second term.
Umpire Bennett puts the ball into the air. Umpire Theo Bennett. Ball comes to ground, goes the way of a Towns player, feeds a handball out, goes the way of a teammate who shoots on goal. That's Raymond Bonney. And Towns needed that one to steady the ship. And Raymond Bonney collaborated well with his teammate there and finished a goal. Screwed it around the corner from 30 metres. Wasn't an easy goal. A very good goal indeed.
I think Jim Sandy's grandson, Graham, looks a little bit worse for wear. He's coming toward the boundary. Righto.
So, yeah, Graham looks like he's pulled up a bit sore, which is no good. Looks like he's got a leg injury. As we look at the scoreboard now for total workwear, we see that Rovers are 5-3-33, Towns are 3-5-22. So Raymond Bonney, he gets on the scoreboard this afternoon, and a very important goal there for Towns. Can Towns get another goal before the half-time break? It would be very important if they can to keep in touch, because it's been a little bit one way in this early stages of this second term. Ball back at the centre. Ball goes forward with a good hit from Kobe Bursell. Goes the way now of the Rovers player, picked up by Towns through Drew Forrester, but his kick goes back. Instead of go kick behind the play, Josh Simpson, but he couldn't handle the ball. Comes the way of Towns, goes the way of Josh Delatey, kicks it towards full forward, picked up by Jalen Parsons. Parsons shoots on goal, but it's offline, and it doesn't make the scoreboard. Goes out of bounds deep in the pocket, but I guess the good thing is Towns get another opportunity. The ball will be thrown in right on the point post, on the right point post at the golf club end. So Towns still have the ball in their forward 50.
The ball coming in now in the shadows of the goals for Towns. Parsons collects it, puts it onto his boot. But the kick isn't a good one. And again, this is all going through for the minor score. So Towns in the last couple of moments have started to get a little bit on top of the Demons, who gained ascendancy late in the first term. Have continued on that into the early stages of this term, but Towns just in the last couple of minutes have started to get some traction in the direction of their goals. The ball going further afield now for Rovers, picked up by Simpson. That's Bo Simpson. He gets by one player, does a bounce, sends it inside the corridor. He's looking for a player there to go on with the job, and that is Jacob Troy. Troy's not up to the challenge, although he follows the ball right the way toward the boundary. He collects it, is quickly tackled the ground, and it's caught in possession. And he really didn't know what he was doing there, the young fella. The ball coming inboard now, going the way of Towns as they come across the ground, and there is a player of note there in Leon Jones. He's got a bit of space, Jones. He comes out to this player in Caleb Sewell. Sewell to Atten Mason, and that was a good passage of play for the Bulldogs. Atten Mason just outside the forward 50, sends it toward the big sticks. Up they go. Players setting themselves over the back of the pack. Towns try and do something, and they do. And the goal is scored by, it is Jalen Parsons. He's as good on the ground as he is in the air, and he scores another goal for Towns.
Yeah, Jalen Parsons gets his third goal of the afternoon. And yes, to Towns' credit, they're working their way back into this contest. It looked like Rovers had a little bit of a run on, because we saw Rovers kick the last three of the first quarter in time on. Then they kicked the first two of the second quarter, so they kicked 5 unanswered goals. But to Towns' credit, they've kicked the last 2 unanswered, and the scoreboard looking a lot better now for Turtle Workwear as we head towards the time on period.
Only 3 points in it, Glenn.
It is very interesting indeed. Rovers have 5 goals, 3-33. They lead Towns 4-6-30, so it was a 6-point margin at quarter time, so Towns have made a little bit of headway. As we head towards time on again, it'll be interesting to see if Rovers can regroup like they did in the first quarter and have a little bit of a purple patch in the time on period. Umpire Migwell to put the ball into the air, and once again Rovers have the best of it. Slap down goes the way there of a Towns player who roves it well and gets it forward, but only as far as the Rovers defence there and Jack Eastoff. And the Rovers are out of trouble. The player that got the ball deeply in there was Hugh Bertram, the ruckman. Picked up beautifully by Kane Simpson. A magnificent pickup. Comes back towards Kane Simpson on centre wing. He takes them on. Takes the big kick from centre wing up towards the half-forward line. Looking there for Farron Parfitt. but Jake Chapman punches the ball away.
Oh, great fist away there, Glenn. Great defensive play.
He's played good as he has all year, Jake Chapman. He slaps the ball away. He's a real doer defender.
So I tell you what, Farron Parker was away if he didn't do that.
Yes, and he was well set up. Kane Simpson got those running legs on and certainly enjoyed the space as he ran up along centre wing. Ball comes back to Drew Forrester. He soccers the ball up along the ground. Comes the way of McGregor. McGregor goes the way of O'Brien. O'Brien kicks it forward, but a good mark taken back there by Eastoff. And Jack Eastoff doing a power of work in defence.
Yeah, one of the better players so far this afternoon. He goes into space and finds this player in Azevedo. Azevedo quickly gets rid of it like a hot potato, but gets it back of his teammate. He plays on now to the outer side. Running out there, running onto it is Simpson. He's been good this afternoon. He gets it to Daniels, back to Simpson, outside the forward 50. He gets around the player, or does he? He does well and finds Denton. Tommy Denton now will have a shot on goal. Let's see what he can do. And he's marking his territory. In fact, it's Farron Parfitt, I must say. Apologies, Farron. Will remind me of that too when he watches the vision. So Farron Parfitt. He's been good this afternoon, playing up front, a small forward, but he is one of the best small forwards in the competition. Plays in defence as well, Glenn, so he's very versatile as Farron Parfitt. He'll kick on a very tight angle from the Floors Road side to the Wanthella end. Let's see what he can do. It's not a bad kick, but it's going to drop short, one would think, yes. And I think did it miss everything? Yes, it did. It missed everything. So the ball now to be brought in by Towns. The ball coming off the back line now. Farron Parfitt not too happy with that effort. The breeze, as I said, is very fickle this afternoon, or I've alluded to that anyway. Ball off the half-back line for Towns, coming toward the broadcast position in front of the Podge Jackson grandstand. Player almost took the mark there, but unable to do so for Rovers. The ball spills free. Player dives on top of it. He too is, in turn, is dived on top of him. Jacob Troy, and the ball be thrown up once again. Deep into the first half now, waiting for that all-important halftime buzzer as Tom Denton sends it forward now, and Clay Azevedo takes the mark as he tight-roped the boundary there, Glenn, on that occasion. So clever by Azevedo. Probably hasn't worked his way into this game as he has in recent games we've seen so far this season. So let's see what he can do here. He's on a tight angle too, almost a mirror image of Farron Parfitt on the other side, the Falls Road side of the ground. See what he can do here. Kicks it toward the big sticks. It's going to come in okay. No, goes to one side and through for the minor score. So Rovers unlucky in their last couple of attempts.
Yeah, 4 points the margin in favour of the Demons. Rovers heading towards half-time. 5-4-34. Lead Towns 4-6-30 on the total workwear scoreboard. So the ball comes back into play. Towns have it in defence. Towns would love another score before the half-time break. Ball comes up, goes the way of Chapman. Jake Chapman stands his ground on half-back. Takes them on now, draws a player, gets a handball out to the teammate. That teammate is Josh Clune. Josh Clune gets it up along the boundary line, but the lasso rule will come into play, and we'll see Rovers with the ball on the outside of the ground, on the Floors Road side, just in front of the scoreboard. See a 4-point margin in favour of the Demons. So Towns keeping the Rovers side at bay to some extent, but Rovers have looked very damaging and threatening at times. Getting a lot of space on their own, the Simpson boys. Ball comes out, goes the way of Hebley. He gets outrun by Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson puts pressure on. Back goes Hebley, does well. And Hebley under pressure sees the ball out of bounds. And there'll be a boundary throw in, centre wing, just in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box. So Rex Hebley did well there. So too did Bo Simpson. Yeah. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play.
Both going hell for leather at the ball in that occasion.
They were giving everything, weren't they? Both
right
of them.
In front of our broadcast position. The ball is thrown in now. Of course, we are here for Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton. The ball going into space is picked up by O'Brien. The player is tackled, continually tackled too long by Jamin alone, and he will get a free kick. So the ball is with Towns. As I said, the dying stages of this, the second term. The player with the ball on this occasion is Hugh Bertram.
He's worked hard. He has tried very hard.
He's got the IQ, that's for sure. Bertram, he sends it down the line now. Players setting themselves. Bit of a pack up there. It's nice mark. Over the top, as you'd expect. Leon Jones just puts up their hands there and cleverly takes the ball away from everyone else. And there's the siren to announce that it is half-time in Adrenaline Valley game day. We have a game on our hands, we sure do. There's only 4 points in it. We go to the break with Rovers leading 5-4-34. They lead Towns 4-6-30. And you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. You're listening to Radio Mama and the GNFL match of the day, thanks to Community Bank Geraldton.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory. Until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
before. So a 4-point margin in favour of the Rovers.
Glenn, before you forget, a shout out to Nola. Well, you know why? Why is there a shout out to Nola, do you reckon?
There's a shout out because we just had some beautiful scones. Yeah.
Yep. Nola's on Facebook.
Very good indeed, and thank you to the Towns Footy Club for providing us such beautiful cake, or scones, as Peter mentioned. Our halftime summaries with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. Halftime of the football. Farron Parfitt for Rovers kick 2. Dwayne Neville, Kane Simpson and Chad Daniels have kicked 1 apiece for Towns. Jalen Parson has kicked 3. And Raymond Bonney has kicked 1. We're underway in this third term. Dreaded O'Malley Motors quarter, the premiership quarter. Can Towns keep the pressure on? Ball comes out of the centre. Umpire started the game was Cody Miguel. And the ball comes the way now of Rovers. Rovers get the free kick go. Up the centre goes the way of the player in Jamin Alone. Alone gets it up there looking for Daniels. Daniels couldn't put a handle on it. Goes back in to retrieve it. Does Chad Daniels. Gets a handball out. Goes the way of Tom Denton. Ball on centre wing. Denton kicks it back towards half forward. Looking up there for a teammate. And Clay Azevedo is that player. He was interfered with. Clay Azevedo will have the free kick. 55 metres from goal, he overturned the ball. So Towns have it now, and Towns quickly get the ball back through the player there in James Simmons. He goes out wide, finds a teammate deep in defence, and that's Chapman. Chapman kicks a big long ball up towards centre wing, out of side, but a good mark taken there by Rovers, and the Rovers player, River Sandals, takes a good strong mark. Sandals plays on quickly, kicks it up, finds Farron. Not Farron, Jamin Alone. Jamin Alone gives it by hand to a teammate who goes forward, and Tom Denton is that player. We played 1 minute in this third quarter, and Rovers have the ball in their forward 50, and there goes the kick up
too
towards
easy.
Simpson, and Simpson is marked, and he's gone up into the forward line now.
He's going back to take a kick. Actually, he did kick a nice goal earlier on. Beautiful check side kick in the second term. Melissa Price in the second term was our sponsor, but better players for Rovers Alone, Kane Simpson, Eastoff, Farron Parfitt and Denton.
Yeah, so Kobe Simpson playing in the forward line now, gets a big kick forward, and it is offline and through for a mark, or is it a, yes, it's a mark. A mark's taken by Rovers, and that play is Clay Azevedo. Azevedo, deep in the pocket.
Sorry, Glenn, I apologise. It was Kane Simpson in the first term. There's Simpsons everywhere, Glenn.
There's 3 Simpsons. Oh, 4.
There's
because
4
Josh, yeah.
There's 4 of them.
Yeah. 3 brothers and a cousin. There goes the kick across the face of goal, and a wasted opportunity there. Looking at better players and contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day. Some of the better players for Towns in the first half. Josh DeLacy, a lot to like out the way he's playing. Jack Chapman also working hard. Jalen Parsons up forward, Noah Ugle up forward, and Drew Forrester. But Towns need to lift, and they need a quick goal to keep them back in this game.
The ball goes away now of Farron Parfitt. Straight up in the air it goes. A mark here. Oh, it's a goal! Farron Parfitt has scored another remarkable goal. It was a rainmaker, Glenn, but it got the distance and just bounced over the line.
Yes, that's his third goal of the day.
Oh,
and as you say,
he's on fire.
He's a good player, and he plays well. He enjoys kicking goals, and he makes them happen. And a good goal there to Farron Parfitt. So there's only 2.5 minutes gone in this third term, and Farron Parfitt gets his third of the afternoon.
Yeah, they've gone to 6-4-40 Rovers. They lead Towns 4-6-30, and it is definitely Holly's shots. Is Nola Holly, and you can Knowles Holly, and you can have a look at her work on Facebook.
And some of the better players and contenders Rovers in that first half, Peter?
Oh yeah, I just went through them. Glenn Alone, Simpson, Eastoff, Farron Parfitt, and Denton.
Very good. So thank you for that. So some good players for both sides. And an entertaining game of footy here at WA Country Builder Stadium this afternoon. Comes the way now of Towns. Towns desperate to get one back. There goes the kick forward. Goes the way of a Rovers player. Has the ball held to him. And umpire Theo Bennett, one of the 3 umpires this afternoon who are part of the Sandra Carr MLC GNFL umpires. And Theo Bennett umpiring his 100th league game today. Ball spills over the back. Goes the way of player in DeLacy, and the Rovers player has interfered with Jalen Parsons, pushed him in the back. That's the way the umpire has seen it. So Jalen Parsons lines up for goal number 4.
He draws free kicks like a true full forward, doesn't he?
Yes, so Jalen Parsons, he is 30 metres out, directly in front. And Jalen Parsons certainly, he kicked 5 last week, and he's lining up for his 4th goal this afternoon. There goes his kick, bangs through to the centre. And on this afternoon for Chemist Warehouse, Towns go to 5 goals 6, which is 36. They trail Rovers 6-4-40. So once again, a tight 4-point ball game here at Wanthella.
They certainly can't be thrown away off the shackles by Rovers at this stage. Just when you think Rovers might be getting some momentum, Towns fight back. So I was talking to someone earlier during the break, and I was just saying that Towns might have the stars that Rovers have got, but they rely on a structure that is serving them well.
Yeah, certainly right. And we saw Towns are very, very good at keeping sides constrained, but can they contain all the talent that Rovers have? That'll be the big test.
Back in the middle now, and Towns scoring the last goal. It is only 4 points in it here this afternoon at WA Country Builders Stadium, and there goes away of Daniels. Daniels in turn, he's gone backwards before coming forward. Don't know why he did that. Rovers have to do some work here. So goes away of Roworth. Roworth in turn to Simpson. Simpson down the line looking for Denton. Denton didn't get paid the mark. He got 2 bites of the cherry. Goes back and gets it again. The umpire says you need to work harder than that, son, because you're a clean medalist. The ball goes inboard now, up into the air. There's Simpson. Geez, Kane Simpson. He is he's just mercurial, that fella. He sends it down the line, finds Easthoff. Easthoff goes further afield, and at centre wing he finds the player there in the big ruckman. He demands it back as Easthoff gets it out now to our player in Simpson down the line, and there's Kobe Simpson. Takes a nice mark, a leading mark, gives it back now to Jack Easthoff. That's gone right down the ground, and Easthoff sends a beautiful kick into Farron Parfitt. Doesn't get it on the first attempt. What's he going to do now? He goes tight ropes down the line. He tries to sock it through like Ronaldo, but on this occasion he's unsuccessful and only through for the minor score.
Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, and Rovers are 6-5. Towns are 5-6. So 41 plays 36. Got a 5-point ball game in favour of the Demons. Ball comes up the ground. Good to see Noah Middleton recovered from a knock earlier in the second quarter. Plays on, does Kane Simpson. Gets it up towards Jamin Malone. Feeds the handball out to Dwayne Neville. Dwayne Neville kicks it up towards full forward. Ball running towards Farron Parfitt. Ball very close to the boundary line. Towns player was trying to knock the ball out without looking like he was. And the ball stayed in, and he was able to keep the ball in, and that was Caleb Sewell. Umpire puts the ball into the air. Ball goes back towards the free kick will go the way of Rovers. So Rovers have it, and the Rovers
straight down the middle they go, and they're going to turn things over here as Forrester gets the ball, knocks it down to ground. He's got someone to beat. Moving on to it, he too has got Easthoff. Easthoff moves hard to ensure that he brings the ball in. The umpire says no, and at prior opportunity, I'll go in and throw it up, boys, and there'll be a ball up just outside the forward 50 for Towns. Yes, the score reads 5-6 Towns. They trail Rovers 6-5. That's 36 plays 41. The Demons with their fingernails just in front here this afternoon. This third term brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors. G'day to Ron and Rachel and all the team. Drennan O'Malley Motors, the best place for a used car, and you'll find them on Chapman Road. Been there for a long time. The ball going forward now for Rovers. At centre wing, Daniels gets it. He sends it in. Well, 2 Daniels out there this afternoon, but he just kicked away. Didn't know where it was. It's marked off the half-back line now by Towns. It looks like Noel Middleton. He's recovered from his big fall earlier today. He gets the ball, he sends it into space, running onto it a couple of Rovers players, but there's Kobe Bursell. He does well. He gets it over, looks for Nally. Nally had 3 to beat. He was all at sea. Goes back the way of Middleton. Middleton is heavily met by an opponent, and the umpire says there was nothing in that, and there'll be a free kick that will go down. There was something in that, I should say, and a free kick will go down the ground. And the ball, that person that has it is DeLacy. So the umpire just waiting for things to settle down, and it is DeLacy who has it right in front of our broadcast position. I can always touch him from where I'm broadcasting here this afternoon. from the Podge Jackson Grandstand here at the WA Country Builders Stadium, the home of the Bulldogs. DeLacy now. It's not a bad kick. It's a good kick and a nice
Beautiful
mark.
pass.
Oh, and it was Hebley that got up into the air and took a nice mark, and he'll shoot on goal.
So he could get his side back in front with his kick. So Gus Hebley with the ball. He's 45 metres out directly in front. And Gus Hebley, a much-needed kick for him and a much-needed goal for his side if he can get it across the line. So 11 scoring shots apiece at this point. And Gus Hebley lining up for goal. Kicking to the Wonthella end. Breeze blowing across his body from east to west. There goes Hebley's kick. Won't be accurate enough. Off hands. Ball flicks forward. Goes the way of Towns. They feed it out. Goes the way of a teammate. Ball smothered off the boot. Well done there by the defence of Rovers. Picked up now by Roworth. Roworth grabs it. Kicks it up towards centre wing. There's two players being looking after each other behind play. Goes the way of a Towns player now. And Jay O'Brien is that player. Jay O'Brien has the ball, 65 metres from goal. Jay O'Brien, can Towns get a goal in the early stages of this third term, the Premiership quarter? But a good strong mark taken there by Rovers, and the Rovers player did well, and that was Blake Tazewell. He brings it out wide, comes there looking for the young man in Menando, and he goes backwards to go forward, goes the way of Josh Simpson. Simpson kicks it up along the boundary line, but the boundary line comes into play. There'll be a boundary throw in just in front of the Rovers coaches box here at WA Country Builders Stadium.
41 plays 36. It is a great game here this afternoon, a tight affair. Drennan O'Malley game day. Peter Forenza and Glenn Barton bringing you all the action on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football, Radio Geraldton, and also filming footy. Good afternoon, wherever you are. The ball comes to ground now. No one can get purchase of it, and we're all up in the shadows of the goals for Towns at the Wonthella end. Umpire Miguel throws the ball aloft. Up they go. No one can get hold of it. The ball spills free. Goes away alone now. One of the better players for Rovers this afternoon. He kicks away when he's tackled. The ball spills free. Trying to mop up. Towns steady the ship. And Forrester takes the mark. The captain goes laterally now. Trying to get some structure into the game. Going the way now of a teammate there. And Robert Bonney. Bonney loses possession. Loses direction. And a free kick will go the way of... What's happened there? The ball going the way of Towns, is it? Yeah, it's Josh. Is it? Yeah, McGregor. He obviously was dealt with off the ball, and that's sort of the thing that's letting Rovers down here a little bit this afternoon. McGregor, nice big kick. That's a big kick into the full forward area. Up they go. No one can get a purchase. The ball goes to ground, coming off the boot. The player there for Rovers, looks like it's Daniels. Daniels puts it into space, but it's picked up now by Sewell. That's a nice kick by Sewell. Gee, right behind it here. It looked like it was going to go straight through the middle of the goals. It drops short, though. A hand up into the air brings it to ground. But in defence now, Roworth has it. He gets it down the line. In fact, that's Jacob Troy. Comes off hands and spills over the boundary. So things heating up here at WA Country Builders Stadium.
Yes, a little bit of emotion coming into the contest now. So we've got a real contest here in our match of the day. This is the Premiership quarter. Can Towns keep the pressure on? Ball comes back into play from the boundary throw-in. Towns slap it forward. Goes the way of Sewell. He handballs it forward. Goes the way of the young Rovers player. Goes forward. And a good kick comes up towards Tommy Denton. Denton for Rovers. Kicks it up towards half forward. Looking up there for Simpson. Simpson's got two to beat, and he's caught in possession, and the umpire will pay that because he tried to take them on. And a beautiful tackle by the Towns defender, and a good bit of play there from McGregor. McGregor goes across the ground.
He knows his job, that fella.
Finds Clune. Josh Clune centres the ball back, but his kick is a poor one and goes the way of Kobe Simpson, so it comes back the way of Simpson anyway.
Simpson gets it again. He sends it toward the goal. She off the side of his boot. That wasn't a good kick, and luckily enough, it bounces inside the boundary, then over the white line. So at the Golf Club end now, the ball. Demons desperate to get another score on the board to hold this slender lead they have here this afternoon, or to qualify it, one would say. The ball coming in now. Players milling around. Let's see what can happen here. Up into the air they go. At the base of the pack, it's picked up by a Rovers player, and that player is Azevedo. He's almost tackled without the ball, but Azevedo goes in again. He puts it up into the air. A bit of a soccer here might pay dividends as the ball goes to ground. Players diving on top of each other. One of those is River Sandals, but no one can get any traction, and the umpire gets it once again. Up into the air it goes. It goes the way of a player that puts it onto his boot on this occasion. And that player was Jason Daniels, but he was unlucky. Comes off hands and goes through for the minor score.
As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Kirrilly War, the member for Geraldton. Brigade's doing it pretty well out there at GBSC Sports Park. Heading towards three-quarter time, and Brigade's 12-1 lead Northampton 6-8, so 42 plays 78. So a pretty good performance so far from Brigades as Towns come out of the back line, get it up towards half forward. Graham Sandy's had his ankle restrapped, looking better. Ball comes the way of Rovers. Josh Simpson kicks it up ground. Beautiful pass, and he's picked out a player there in Kobe Bursell. Kobe Bursell on centre wing, just in front of the Radio Mama broadcast box here at Wonthella. He plays on Bursell now, kicks it up towards half forward. Towns have the numbers. Rovers have the ball towards them. Towns get a handball back, goes back the way of the player in Daniels. He feeds a handball out to Azevedo. Azevedo kicks it up towards full forward, and almost a good mark to Farron Parfitt. In goes the player there in Hoffhammer, goes the way of Clune, and Clune kicked an own goal and a minus score. And on the scoreboard for Chemist Warehouse, we see that Rovers are 6-7, 43. Towns are 5-6, 36.
The ball coming out of defence now for Towns on the far side. It's picked up by Forrester, one of the biggest possession getters for his side so far this afternoon. He gets it out of this player. Ditto for him. That's O'Brien. O'Brien goes further afield on the Floors Road side of the ground, but it's Rovers defence that do the better as they come out of danger now. Going back to Alone, he gives it back to a teammate who sends it inboard now and finds his player in Daniels. Daniels now in the middle of the ground. He sees the lead. That lead is, I think, Sandals who has it. Up into the air goes the player there to try and take the mark in Azevedo. He gets it out to Chad Daniels, the other Daniels this afternoon, into space. River Sandals gets it. He goes around the player. A nice little chip pass. Gets it to Farron Parfitt. He shoots on goal, and he has just missed. But that was a nice passage of play, but didn't finish off the way they wanted.
Yeah, Rovers peppering away. And on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, Rovers are 6-8, 44. They lead Towns 5-6, 36.
I apologise. Jonas Monando is at number 5. You've called him before, Glenn, and he has had a bit of the ball this afternoon.
He has. He's a good young player. He gets very easy to get mixed up with him and Kane Simpson, both very small, slight young players. Ball comes out of defence, goes the way now of Towns and Leon Jones. Leon Jones off half-back, draws a player, gives it to Rex Heavily. Heavily's got pace. For some run, but Josh Simpson's there for Rovers. He gets the ball out of trouble, kicks it the way of Cohen Credelli. Credelli draws it to way of Alone. Jamin Alone goes by hand to Tom Denton. Denton handballs away, goes to Jacob Troy. He kicks the ball forward, looking there for some Rovers run from Farron Parfitt. In goes Caleb Sewell. He's steady under pressure. Sewell gets a kick away, and the mark comes up the ground. And a whistle on play. Free kick goes the way of the player there in Drew McGregor. So Drew McGregor with the free kick or the mark or whatever it was.
The mark, yeah.
Yeah, Drew McGregor plays on quickly, goes the way, and a good solid mark taken there by Hoffhammer. Across the top of the pack, plays on wide, finds a player all on his own, and Towns have the ball on a string on centre wing. Out of side, kicks it forward, and he finds a player there in Josh DeLacy. Josh DeLacy looking to get the ball on quickly. He finds a player all on his own, and Towns have the ball in their forward 50.
Ugle, I think, isn't it?
It is Noah Ugle with the ball, 35 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
DeLacy's been good today.
Yeah, he was good last week. He's continuing on that form. So Noah Ugle, can he get a goal and bring the margin back to a couple of points? There goes Noah Ugle's kick. It looks pretty good off the boot. Won't make the distance. Off hands. Picked up by Towns. Picked up by Graham Sandy. And Graham Sandy had a shot on goal. But the ball has hit the post. The point post. It is out on the full. So the ball will be brought back in by Bradley Roworth for Rovers.
Interesting. Probably could have been caught in possession for that one as well, too. As the ball goes across the face of goal. Bo Simpson gets it down the line. Credelli has it now. He sets sail to the outer side, looking for Daniels out there. Daniels struggles to get it, but gets it to a teammate and accepts it back at centre wing. Down the line it goes now. Denton does well. He puts it into space. The player there, Jacob Troy, never knows what to do with the ball. Always loses possession. You must think about it before you get it, Troy, and Jacob, and see what you can do with it. The ball in the half-back line now goes the way of Towns. They do it easy as it comes across to Forrester, or do they? A nice little passage of play there ensures that Rovers still has it. Clay Zavato accepts the ball off a teammate, shoots on goal, and Clay Zavato has nailed it.
Yeah, good goal there from Clay Zavato. That's his first of the afternoon, and a very handy goal. They all are in a tight contest like this, but Clay Zavato gets his first of the third term, his first of the game. And on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, we see that Rovers 7-8-50 now lead Towns 5-6-36, so a 14-point margin.
End-to-end footy, Glenn.
Yeah, one of the biggest margins of the day as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and Kirrily War, the member for Geraldton. Out there at Mazzucchelli Oval at Nabor, we see that a good start to Railways continues. Railways 7-11 lead Chapman Valley 3-6. So 7-11, 3-6. And a interesting scoreline out there at GBSC, and Brigade's in control of that game against Northampton.
It seems to amaze me that Railways and Chapman Valley have played their third encounter against each other this season, and it's only halfway through.
Yeah, round 11, and they've played each other 3 times. At this stage, it looks like Railways have certainly clearly got the wood on Chapman Valley. They beat them. It looked like they're going to beat them 3 times in succession. So that is a good sign for Railways, not a good sign for Chapman Valley.
Well, on the far side, I think it is... I thought it might have been a Rovers free kick there. The umpire goes in to relieve the pressure. Up they go now, going down the throat of a Rovers player in Sandels. Gets it to Daniels. He's getting a bit of the ball in this term. He's looking for Farron Parfitt. It's going over his head a lot this afternoon, Parfitt. They need to kick it lower to the ground because he's not the tallest of players, but he certainly knows how to gather a ball. The ball coming out of defence now. Towns have it. I trail on the scoreboard, 36-50. As Glenn said, the biggest margin in the game so far this afternoon. McGregor steadying the ship, takes a mark that just went the 15 metres, one would think. Coming back the way of Bonnie. Ditto for that pass, that kick as well. Bonnie in front of the dugout for his side, the Towns Footy Club this afternoon. He goes down in front of our broadcast position, and there's Hebley. He took a nice mark, did Hebley, in front of Criddle. Plays on now, inside the corridor, and a nice mark again. Is taken by Graham Sandy. Sandy does well to put it inside the corridor. Can someone run onto it? And Graham Sandy has scored a remarkable goal for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they needed that one, to say the least, and Graham Sandy worked hard, and that will lift his confidence.
He looked like he was all over coming into the end of the last term, but he's found his mojo.
Yes, and he's made something out of nothing, and that's what you've got to do every now and then. And good luck to him and Towns. They've
so
kept
just
themselves
when you
in the
thought
Gondas.
Rovers were getting on top, Towns have pegged them back. And that's been happening all game, Glenn.
It has. It's been very entertaining indeed. So Graham Sandy gets his first goal for Towns. I think he hasn't kicked a goal for Towns last week.
If you remember back earlier on in the season out there at Greenock Oval only a few weeks ago, Towns were doing much the same thing until late in the game.
They were. So a very entertaining game here. We're heading towards, we're into time on in this third quarter. They call it the Premiership quarter. So it's an 8-point margin. So Rovers led by 6 points at quarter time. They led by 4 points at half time. And as we head towards three-quarter time, they lead by 8 points. So they continue to be in front, but they're under pump. Ball comes the way of Rovers, goes the way of Kane Simpson. He runs back through traffic, does it easy, runs again, hates a bounce, kicks it towards full forward. Towns have to slap the ball forward. Can Rovers get a late goal? Ball picked up now by McGregor, who's been good again this afternoon. McGregor gets his kick forward, picks out a teammate, and that's Jay O'Brien. He goes the way of a teammate in Bonnie. Bonnie's kick goes up the ground, but only as far as the Rovers player there. He takes a good mark at Blake Tazewell. Tazewell kicks it back and finds Daniels. So Rovers can set something up now. They centre the ball and gives Towns an opportunity through Jake Chapman to stand his ground, and Chapman takes a solid mark. He does a lot of
intercepting marks, Jake.
He does, doesn't he?
Chapman, doesn't he? The ball coming out of defence now. He's come right down the ground, has the big full forward for Towns to try and get back into the game with Jalen Parsons, but outpointed on this occasion, going back the way of Chad Daniels, straight down the corridor, but just blazed away and was hoping for the best. But Towns do the better on this occasion. Coming out laterally now, finds Forrester. Forrester thinks about what he's doing, gets it away to this player in Hebley down the line and finds Parsons. Parsons at centre wing. Strange territory for him. He sends it inboard to O'Brien. O'Brien doesn't take the mark, but a player right into his back. The player was Budali. The umpire was unsighted. The ball still goes the way of Townslow through the agencies of Forrester. Straight down the throat of Bo Simpson, though. He's Mr. Reliable. Out of defence he goes to Simpson. He gets it to Eastoff down the Floors Road side of the ground. Eastoff puts it on the chest of a player there at centre wing. So what can they do with it now, Rovers? Another goal you would think they need going into three-quarter time, but they're not going to get there because the siren sounds then. And we do have a game on our hands here at Drennan O'Malley Game Day, because in the Drennan O'Malley Motors Quarter, it was a tight affair with Rovers getting the edge and then Towns pegging them back. At three-quarter time, it is Rovers 7-8-50, leading Towns 6-6-42, a margin of 8 points. And you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
You're listening to the GNFL Match of the Day, thanks to Kerrily War MLA and the City of Greater Geraldton on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Our name is derived from the Greek prefix, macro, large. From the day we were born, this has been a promise for the future. We have grown through dedication, sweat, self-denial, faithful to our mission of being on the side of those who put themselves on the line. Through our name, we celebrate the greatness of those who believe there are no obstacles higher than their dreams. The courage to get back up after falling. The obstinacy of believing until the end. These are the values embedded in our logo. The Macron Hero. It's a celebration of sacrifice and tenacity. Up until your personal victory, until your arms are in the sky. Become your own hero.
Rovers has kicked 3. Singles to Dwayne Neville, Kane Simpson, Chad Daniels and Clay Azevedo. For Towns, their goal scorers, Jalen Parsons has 4. Raymond Bonney has 1. And Graham Sandy has 1. Contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player today. Lot to like about the way Jake Chapman's playing in defence for Towns. Also playing well, Drew Forrest in the midfield. Jalen Parsons up forward. Josh DeLacy and also Noah Ugal. We're underway in this final quarter with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. As you see, the ball quickly goes forward, goes the way of Rovers. Rove beautifully by Kane Simpson. He draws a player, gives it by hand to Tom Denton. Denton gives it the way of Alone. Alone couldn't put a handle on it. The ball goes back in. He slaps the ball out again. Ball running free, picked up by young Credelli and picked up again by Credelli, and he finished it off. Cohen Credelli gets his first of the afternoon.
It's like they said, have another go, son.
And the Rovers get their 8th of the afternoon, and a very, very important goal early in this final term.
Good support from Jamin Alone there.
Yes, so Cohen Credelli gets his first of the afternoon. And on the total workwear scoreboard, we see Rovers now 8-8-56 to Towns 6-6-42, so the margin is extending, so it goes out to 14 points. Looking at what's happening at other games this afternoon at GBSC Sports Park, Brigades on target to take another win. Brigades 14-5-89 lead Northampton 7-6-48 at three-quarter time. And out there at Mazzucchelli Oval, Railways on target to get another win. Railways 7-11-53 lead Chapman Valley 3-6-24.
Alone, Kane Simpson, Farron Parfitt, Jason Daniels and Blake Tazewell among the better players for Rovers in the third term. Back in the middle now as we continue on with this Drennan O'Malley game day into the final quarter, brought to you by GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Next week, or during the week, don't forget to join us on Radio Mama and Radio Geraldton as we cover the Country Week Championships. Colts combination, gee, they're a good combination too. They are probably the cream of a GNFL competition at the moment. And they will be a pleasure to watch down at the Country Championships. It will be happening at Scotch College, and we will be there. And Glenn, we will be there for two games on the Thursday?
3 games.
3 games on the Thursday and possibly a final on the Friday.
Yeah, we've got a game at 10 o'clock, we've got a game at 12 o'clock, and we've got a game at 3 o'clock. So plenty of footy on Radio Mama on this Thursday. So stay tuned for that one, and you'll hear all the action. So in the first game, we play regional districts, and then the second game against Peel is at later on. That's at 12 o'clock. That's Southwest, and then we play Peel, I should say, at 3 o'clock. So that's our break-up of the day on Thursday.
Okay, the ball on the half-back line now for Towns. Rovers attacking the one-teller end of the ground in this particular term. The last goal scored by Colin Credelli. He had 2 bites of the cherry, but did well to keep the pressure on and score it in the end to give him his team the biggest lead of the afternoon. They lead 56-42. It's been a little bit scrappy today, Glenn, to say the least, but it has been
fair bit of pressure.
Yeah, there has been a fair bit of pressure, but probably not the highest standard game. The ball coming out of the pack now goes the way of Rovers into the half-forward area. Farron Parfitt's there. He falls over himself as he goes over the boundary. And the ball stays with Daniels now. That's Chad Daniels. He sends it inboard inside the corridor. Goes away of Rovers now, but are they able to finish it off? There is again Credelli. He sees the big lights of the goals and gives it to Alone, who spins around on a 50-cent piece, goes across the face of goal and out across the white line. So a deep attack now once again for the Demons.
Rovers looking to keep their unbeaten record intact with a win this afternoon. There's still an opportunity for Towns if they can manufacture something. They haven't been able to get in touch. They led for the first 2 goals because they kicked the first 2 goals, but since then it's been Rovers who have been in the front, but not by a margin, but as Peter just mentioned, it's the biggest margin of the day. 14 points in favour of Rovers. It did get up to 12 points in favour of Towns early in the game, but that was in the first part of the first quarter. Whistle on play, free kick's been picked out, goes the way of Towns' Rex Hebley. Rex Hebley with the ball in the back pocket. So Towns looking to get the ball up along the Floors Road side. So Towns are kicking to the golf club end in this quarter. Rovers are kicking to the Wanthella end. Ball comes out, goes the way of Towns. And Rovers, Tom Denton gets it out towards Credelli. Credelli kicks the ball up. But once again, Towns player took the mark, but he had the ball, must have been touched off hand.
I'd say so.
And the free kick will be not paid. It'll be thrown up by umpire Miguel. The umpires this afternoon doing the job for Sandra Carr, MLC. The GNFL umpires, Theo Bennett playing his 100th game this afternoon, or umpiring his 100th game, along with his dad, Robert Bennett, and Cody Miguel doing a great job for the GNFL umpires and Sandra Carr.
Free kick going the way of Towns in deep defence now. And they're under siege somewhat in the early stages of this, the final term. Rovers are on top, probably the most they have been all afternoon. They're all going to the outer side, the Falls Road side of the ground. Up into the air it goes. No one can get mitts on it, but Towns do the better in the end, going the way of Lacey now. He puts it onto his boot. Like this game again this afternoon, but he heads it toward the boundary and kicks it out on the full. What's the lasso rule, they say? To be brought in now by Simpson. Josh Simpson. Mercurial Josh Simpson. In he comes now. Gee, that was an interesting kick. He's looking for a lone. A lone almost marked him, but goes away now of Dwayne Simpson. He weaves through a couple of players. He puts the ball up into the air. Goes back the way of a lone. And he goes straight toward goal, but on this occasion a little bit inaccurate and through for the minus score.
Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, and Rovers are 8 goals 9, 57. They lead Towns 6-6-42. So a 15-point margin in favour of the Bulldogs. Towns bring the ball out through McGregor. Drew McGregor. Big kick up towards centre wing. Finds Jalen Parsons. Feeds it out towards the hard-running player there in Rex Hebley. Hebley takes a bounce and he kicks it into the deep into the pocket. Looking out there for the run of the Towns player, but Rovers have the run, and Rovers get the ball forward. Goes the way of Jack Eastoff. Eastoff goes to the sanctuary of the boundary line, and the umpire says, yeah, we'll have the lasso rule, and that goes the way of Jay O'Brien. O'Brien centres it. Goes the way now of a teammate there in Bonnie. Bonnie kicks it forward. And a beautiful mark taken by the Towns player there under a fair bit of pressure. Gus Hebley. And Gus hasn't had his kicking boots on today.
But he's taken some good marks.
He's been very good, but he hasn't been able to finish off. So Gus Hebley has an opportunity now. He's 35 metres out, 45-degree angle. And Gus Hebley to kick this one and keep Towns in the contest. So Gus Hebley kicking towards the golf club end. 35 metres out, directly in front. Let's see how he goes. Beautiful mark, under a lot of pressure. And Gus Hebley, can he put the icing on the cake and keep his side in the contest? Hebley taking time, runs towards the boundary, and he sees the ball screw around the corner and goes through for 1 point only.
It's interesting, we saw Dwayne Neville in the first term have a kick very similar to that, although he was a lot closer than Gus, but it went off the side of his boot the same way.
Yeah, but there's hardly a breath of breeze out there at the moment, so very strange.
Very strange.
So looking at the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, Towns are 6-7-43. They trail Rovers 8-9-57.
Oh, this man knows what he's doing.
So the ball is with Jalen Parsons. He kicks it back to his...
Well, I thought he knew what he was doing.
Josh Simpson. Josh Simpson said, thank you very much. Simpson brings it up the ground to half-back.
Nadal to Federer, that
wasn't
it?
Tom Denton has the ball, and Tom's done well again this afternoon.
He has.
Gets a kick forward. Tom got run into, so the free kick will go up the ground.
Almost a coat hanger, that
Goes the way now of Daniels.
Chad Daniels.
The new player in the side for the Demons. Kicks it up, looking there for Farron Parfitt. He couldn't pick up the ball. Goes back in to retrieve it. Goes the way of Credelli. Credelli feeds it out to Azevedo. He breaks through the pack. Kicks it towards forward. And finds Jamin alone.
And wasn't it a beautiful kick from Azevedo?
A beautiful kick indeed. So Jamin alone can put the icing on the cake and make it very, very hard from here. Jamin is shooting on goal. 40 metres out, directly in front. Playing in the forward line at the moment.
He can get onto these, Jamin. I don't want to put the mocker on him, but he can kick a fair distance.
He can. So Jamin alone, kicking towards the Wanthala end. And can he finish this one off? There goes his left foot kick. Looks pretty good off the boot. And the goal umpire says 1 point only.
Jeez.
And on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, Rovers peppering away now. Rovers 8 goals, 10, 58. They lead Town 6-7-43. So it is 13 scoring shots to 18 in favour of the Rovers side as Towns bring the ball out through DeLacy. He goes up the ground and finds a hard-running player there in Rex Hebley. Hebley draws the player, then he goes for a handball. Then he gets it out towards Noah Middleton. Middleton gets the kick forward, but only as far as Tom Denton for Rovers. He kicks the ball back, And ball goes the way of Jay O'Brien in the centre of the ground.
Denton also probably would have been in the better players in the third term as well. He's probably been evening out his best for Rovers this afternoon as ball comes back in board, as Glenn mentioned, going the way of Hebley. Hebley now. Straight down the middle he goes. Gus Hebley, players setting themselves up. They go. No one can take the mark. Rovers were up in the air, but Towns waited for the ball to fall, but Rovers do the better through Josh Simpson. He's been working well in defence this afternoon. Could play him at either end as it comes away now of this player. He goes one way, then the other. Gives it to a teammate who's quickly set upon. The Rovers players really should have ran with the ball on that occasion. They tried to keep it in their keeping, and doing so, muffed it up somewhat, Glenn, and the free kick has gone the way of Caleb Sewell. Sewell sends it inboard now, going the way of a teammate there in Graham Sandy. Got a remarkable goal in the last term. Sandy sends it inboard. Towns still have possession as the ball comes back the way now of DeLacy. DeLacy is tackled, but he gets the ball away. The player he sent it to was certainly brought to the ground and tackled in possession. He gets it out of danger. Going toward the boundary. The player quick to take it over the boundary on this occasion is Denton. Sorry, that wasn't Denton that sent it out. It was Denton that worked to get over the boundary. Is not that good. But the ball will be thrown in now in the shadows. The long shadows that are continuing to grow here at WA Country Builder Stadium.
Yes, we've played 10.5 minutes in this final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. Of course, the financial year has come to an end, so the accountants will be very busy in the weeks and months ahead. As the ball comes forward again, goes the way of the Towns player, feeds it out.
That's an easy
and Towns
goal,
are going to get a goal. Goes the way of Leon Jones.
Too easy.
And Leon Jones gets Towns' first goal of this term. And to say they needed it would be an understatement. So Leon Jones keeps the lights flickering for Towns. And we see on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, it is Rovers 8-10-58. They lead Towns 7-7-49. And Leon Jones gets his first goal of the afternoon for the Bulldogs.
There are a few players out of the Rovers lineup today, which means probably the structure that they have been building on, not that they ever have much, has been not there today. And they are playing with a run and stun style of game, and they're hoping that it pays off. And, well, it may pay off, but there's still a little way to go in this quarter. Only 11 minutes gone, and Towns keep pegging away.
We know that Rovers are coming off a bye, and sometimes sides are a bit sluggish after a bye, but Towns, we know, have played some good footy in recent times. They pushed beat Northampton last week, but we did see him early on in the season, round 4, when they pushed Rovers.
No big Chris Scott today. They are resting him, Glenn.
Yeah, for sure. Ball comes the way of the player there in Daniels. Daniels gets the ball forward, goes the way of Chad Daniels, and he goes further afield, looking there for Jamin Malone. So Jamin Malone, 50 metres out, centres the ball, looking there for a teammate. Ball running free, goes the way of Tom Denton. Tom Denton screws one around the corner, but well done by the Towns defence there. Slapped the ball through, and 1 point only. So on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, Towns are 7-7-49. Rovers are 8-11-59. A 10-point ball game, so Towns, I know they want to get a win. They don't want an honourable loss, but they're still playing in this contest. And another goal to Towns very quickly would make it very entertaining indeed.
Yeah, not taking anything away from Towns, but Rovers are very tardy around goals at the moment. They're not finishing off as well as they should be, and I'm sure their coaches would want them to as well. As the ball goes down the ground to Sandy now. Just in front of the dugout for Towns. He sends it in. Well, there he is. Parsons. He'll run into an open goal. He knows what he's doing, and he has edged Towns ever closer here in our Drennan O'Malley game day and nails it.
So Jalen Parsons gets his 5th of the afternoon. That was the response we expected, and a very, very interesting scoreline on the Chemist Warehouse scoreline and the scoreboard. We see Rovers 8-11-59, so they've had 19 scoring shots, and we see Towns 8-7-55. They've had 15 scoring shots, 4 points the margin in favour of the Demons. And Rovers still got a game to win here.
They certainly do, and Towns are making sure that they do it the hard way, if not lose it, to a side that is playing with much better structure and much better purpose at the moment. So the ball back in the middle now. Can Rovers return the favour? As I said, they've been a bit sloppy in their forward line. They need to tighten things up. They've got the players to do it. The Towns are showing them up at the other end, and Jalen Parsons is leading the challenge. The ball coming back now into the middle. It is 59 plays 55 with 14 and a half minutes gone. Azevedo out of the middle. All let's see. Gets it to a teammate who didn't know what to do with it. Goes straight down the throat of his opponent, who brings it to ground, and it'll be balled up once again. The crowd getting involved this afternoon, and again, throughout the season, we've had some big crowds, and they certainly have come again this afternoon at WA Country Builders Stadium. A free kick going the way of Tazewell, one of his side's better players this afternoon, one of the better ruckmans in the competition. Has grown in stature over recent seasons. The ball goes away of Daniels. Chad Daniels into the lineup today, just feeling his feet. Daniels goes down the line. He's looking for support down there, and alone is almost brought to ground as he goes in and will receive a free kick. He was tackled when he didn't have the ball, but looking into the sun is alone. They need someone in the goal square, but no one's there. But I think Josh Simpson is lurking as the ball comes in. He's over the back, Simpson. What can he do? He waits there, but the ball comes off hands from someone else and through for the minor score.
So it's a 5-point ball game in favour of the Demons. Ball in defence. Towns need to regroup and rebound very, very quickly. Still plenty of time for both sides.
There certainly is, Glenn.
McGregor brings the ball in, and he's found his teammate there. Good mark taken there by the Towns player in Aiton Mason. He's worked hard this afternoon. Finds Drew Forrester. Drew Forrester on centre wing. So Towns working the ball up along the clubroom side, kicking towards the golf club end. Ball goes the way now of Jack Eastoff. Eastoff puts it on his left boot. Beautiful kick forward and a beautiful pass. And he's picked out Farron Parfitt.
He's been threatening that for a while now, Farron Parfitt. He needed to take a mark to give him his confidence back up. He's lost it in the last couple of quarters, that's for sure. He's had a couple of players right on his hammer, Glenn. Now he'll have a shot at goal, and we're right behind it here in the Podge Jackson grandstand.
Yes, Farron's kicked 3 goals this afternoon. And he's a very, very clever player, as we've said a number of times this afternoon. Farron Parfitt lining up for goal, 50 metres out, 45-degree angle. And once again, we've got the best seats in the house at Radio Mama as the kick goes off his boot now, and it goes along the ground and out of bounds. But it's still in play in the fact that it's still only 10 metres around from the left point post at the Wanthella end. So still in the danger zone. Still a good opportunity for Rovers to score while they have it in that.
He tried to make the distance instead of probably making it a contest in the goal square.
Ball to be brought back in. Boundary umpire and field umpires done a wonderful job this afternoon, as have the goal umpires. Goes the way of Chad Daniels. Daniels takes them on. Yeah, he got caught in possession. You've got to get rid of the balls first time, and I like to think this is a great rule in the fact when you try and break a tackle, it does cause you a little bit of problem. Caleb Sewell gets it out wide. Finds the way, goes to Mason. Goes the way of Drew McGregor. McGregor's a speedster. Takes his second bounce. Breaks through the centre. Gets the kick forward. And Dwayne Neville's given away a free kick. And the ball will go up the ground. Towns play on now. Goes the way of Gus Hebley. Gus Hebley kicks it deep into the pocket. And a Towns player stands the ground. And a good mark taken there by Jake Chapman.
He's only a few metres out from goal, about 15 to 20 metres out from goal, Glenn.
Leon Jones, I think
Leon Jones. He's a good goal sneak. Couldn't be in better hands, Glenn.
No, Leon has kicked one this afternoon.
A nailed goal here would give them the lead.
By a point, if he gets it. So Leon Jones shooting on goal, 15 metres out, 45-degree angle. And we've played 17 and a half minutes in this final term. With thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants. There goes Leon Jones's kick.
It's through the middle.
So it's a 1-point ball game in favour of Towns. And on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard, interesting scoreline indeed. Towns are 9-7-61. They lead Rovers 8-12-60. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, your home of GNFL footy. Entertaining game of footy, to say the least.
Leon Jones, as I said, couldn't be in better hands, and he certainly knew what he had to do. He put it straight through the middle, and Towns have the slender lead. Just the 1 point, the slenderest it can be here in Australian rules football. The ball back in the middle now. Players setting themselves. Rovers need to answer the challenge. 18 minutes gone, 18 and a half minutes gone in this, the final term for GT Russell Chartered Accountants. What can the Demons do? They're looking into the sun at the Wanthella end. That's the end to which they're scoring. But they've got their tails up now to Towns as they come out of the middle, and it comes through the guys on this occasion of Rex Hebley. The Hebley boys have been great again this afternoon as they send it to a contested possession passage of play. And I think they need to take one player, Dwayne Neville, off the ground before he does something that's going to cost Rovers this game. The ball up into the air they go. The ball coming out of that passage of play, going the way of a player that puts it onto his boot. That's a Heberley, but straight down the throat of that player in Kobe Simpson. He does well to get it out to that player in Dwayne Neville. Neville couldn't take the mark and finds the sanctuary of the boundary. I don't mean to be hard on Neville, but often when things get a bit tough and a bit tight for this youngster, he's got a lot of talent, but he does let the side down. So let's hope that I'm wrong. The ball coming in now, players setting themselves, up they go. No one can get possession. Towns are set, have their tails up. Can Rovers do enough to regain the lead and win this game here this afternoon? They want it more to Towns. They're desperate. But Rovers through Daniels. He tries to soccer it through. He eventually picks it up. Gives it to a teammate. Over his head. Goes away now of Rovers. They send it into the full-foot area. That comes away of Simpson. Running out now. It's Kane Simpson. He turns around and calls it for the Demons.
A wonderful goal there from Kane Simpson. Beautiful finish. And Kane Simpson gets his first or second goal of the afternoon. And a beautiful goal to Simpson. Well finished. And Towns had their opportunities. They couldn't hold firm.
Jason Daniels did well then, didn't he, Glenn? He was under a lot of pressure in the midfield and he was able to keep control.
He did. He was very cool under pressure. And the Towns players had their chances. They didn't take them. Rovers did. And on the scoreboard, Chemist Warehouse scoreboard. And it is Rovers back in front by 5 points. Still plenty of time for both sides. Rovers 9-12, 66. Lead Towns 9-7, 61. We're into time on in this match of the day with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants, Drennan O'Malley Motors Game Day. Umpire Migwell puts the ball into the air. Rovers get the best of it. Picked up again by Tom Denton. Tom Denton kicks it forward. Picked up beautifully by Clay Azevedo. He feeds it out towards Denton, who runs past. Denton kicks it in towards the forward pocket and finds Farron Parfitt. And Parfitt is marked 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle.
Let's hope he can get onto it better than the last kick, Glenn.
Farron Parfitt, he's not far enough. He's not so far out this time, so he shouldn't have to try and...
Looking straight into the sun, though.
Farron Parfitt kicking towards the Wanthala end.
He thinks he's Dennis Lilly the way he's going back now.
So Farron looking to make the best of this. And
Kicking
there goes his short pass. Looking there for Josh Simpson. Ball spills, goes the way of a Towns player, feeds it out. Goes the way of Chapman. He's good again. Kicks it out wide. Rovers have 3 players. Towns have 2. Goes the way of Bo Simpson. Picked up by Towns. In goes Noah Middleton, working hard. So the ball deep on the boundary line. Whistle on play.
66 plays 61, Glenn. A 5-point ball game. 22 minutes gone in the final turn.
Free kick goes the way of Kobe Simpson. Kobe Simpson had a good game, as he generally does. Goes out wide. Finds Jack Eastoff. Ball will come back with a short pass towards Simpson. Kobe Simpson, centre wing.
They don't be careful, Rovers, here if they're playing for time, Glenn.
Yeah, they don't want to play for time because there's still a bit of time to go in this contest, but they get the ball up the ground, finds Tom Denton. Tom Denton on centre wing, outer side, or Floors roadside. Looking for the Wanthala end. He's telling players, I'm going to kick it long. He does so now, deep up along the boundary line. In goes Farron Parfitt. Ball goes over the back. Comes the way of a Towns player. Towns get it out. Kick goes forward. Towns player is slung. And that's the way the umpire has seen it. Free kick goes the way of Middleton. Middleton for Towns. Centres the ball. Towns have an opportunity now if they can pick it up. They do so eventually. Awkward handball. Puts his teammate under pressure. Clay Azevedo takes them on. Gets a handball out. Goes the way of Bo Simpson. He goes to brother Kane. Kane runs through traffic. Gets a kick forward. Goes the way of Farron Parfitt. He kicks it forward and finds the young man in Monado. He gives it away and he goals.
That sealed it, I think, Glenn.
It does so. Jonas Monado gets his first of the afternoon. And Rovers are going to win this contest here at GBSC Sports Park.
Made a hero of himself, this young fella, because he certainly was under a lot of pressure to nail that one, Glenn.
He did. And young Jonas Monado is his name, and he's a very exciting young player and got a good score on the board there under a lot of pressure in a very precious situation.
And also back here, Clay Azevedo was under a lot of pressure too, and he had to think quickly what he needed to do with the ball. He put it over his head. Kane Simpson was there, and that's where it all started, didn't it?
It certainly did. Looking at the scoreboard for our friends at Chemist Warehouse this afternoon, and it is Rovers 10-12, 72. 22 scoring shots to Towns, 9-7, which is 16 scoring shots, 61. So a tight contest here at Wanthello, but a really great game in our Drennan O'Malley Motors game day this afternoon. And umpire Theo Bennett will come in and throw the ball up again. Time running out now for Towns. They've been gallant. They've worked hard, but they're not going to get the premiership points they needed because Rovers are going to hang for tight. Free kick goes the way of the player there in O'Brien. O'Brien was ankled. There goes his kick forward, up towards half forward. Goes through a Towns player's hands. Goes to Rovers' Kobe Simpson. He goes the way of Tazewell. Back to Bo Simpson. Bo Simpson on his left boot. Kicks it out wide. Well done by the Towns player there in Simmons. Simmons gets a handball back. Goes to Aiton Mason. Mason kicks it up towards the teeth of goals. Into the pocket. Finds Gus Heberley. Gus Heberley marks now. Centres the ball. And he finds a teammate. And that teammate is Drew Forrester. And Drew Forrester will shoot on goal from 25 to 30 metres out. And there goes his kick. And Towns get another one. 5 points again on the scoreboard in favour of Rovers. And Towns on the Chemist Warehouse scoreboard go to 10 goals, 7-67.
I don't think it's enough, Glenn.
They trail Rovers 10-12-72. And we've played 25 and a half minutes in this final quarter.
Modern-day football has always proven us wrong. You can get a goal. If there's as many minutes as goals in the way, you can do it, Glenn, as they say, but we don't really know how long there is to go. We know that it is 25 and a half minutes
Well, in this quarter, this has been a very good scoring quarter for Towns. They've kicked 4 goals, and we've seen Rovers kick 3. So we've had 7 goals scored. So there could be still a minute or 2 left in this contest.
So there could be. Can Rovers hold on? Can they get another score? Or can Towns surmount the insurmountable and take the scalp for the first time of Rovers this season? The ball going the way of Denton, the Coombe medalist. Out to the side now it goes. Rovers have it, and they go through down the Floors Road side of the ground. Have they still got possession? No, Towns have better ideas. The defence intercepts on this occasion, brings the ball down and stops the passage of play. There'll be a ball up in the half-forward area for the Demons. Time ticking away on the precious clock here at WA Country Builders Stadium. You're listening to all the action on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Going back the way of this player, Clay Azevedo, up into the full-forward area. It'll bounce over the top and goes through for the minor score. Could that be the difference, Glenn? 73 plays 67 on the clock, on the scoreboard. The ball coming out of defence, McGregor. He knows what he's doing. He'll steady the ship, but he only sends it as far on this occasion as Denton. Denton probably equaling as the best on ground this afternoon. Will he see his beloved Demons through to a win and continue their unbeaten run here in season 2026?
Yeah, time is running out, I think, for Towns now. It's been a really good contest. They've really worked hard. But Rovers have just had the edge. They've just got that extra player when the pressure lifts.
Put down the accelerator when they need to, don't they?
They do. The ball comes back, goes the way now of the hard-running Rovers player in Sheldon Nelly, very close to the boundary line. But time appears to be running out. Towns are working hard. Leroy Shiozaki is that player. He goes up along centre wing. And once again, the whistle on play. The boundary umpire will come and throw the ball in.
6 points is the difference on the scoreboard. 73 plays 67. The Demons just in front here in our Drennan O'Malley game day. Mr. Football Glenn Barnden. It's pretty excited, but there's the siren to announce that Rovers have won a thriller here on Drennan O'Malley game day here on Radio Mama. It is Rovers 10-13-73 have defeated Towns 10-7-67 in a thriller. And you're listening to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.